And here we go. So Swift on the defense, out of range on the attack. Talk us through the start here, Mojo.
Well, out of range from the start, very aggressive, going toward that one cap. It's really expected. That bad shot of theirs is straight going for a defilate on B0. We've seen how it's covered from there. Formula Jin will cover their backs and try to make a crossfire with them if they are attacked from any side. Now Mikhailov is trying to see if they're coming. He's spotted, so he knows what's going on, and they will probably guess by now that majority of out-of-range forces is already there, though they can't see them at the moment. 3090, as we already mentioned, Dezek already starting the cap right now.
Okay, so with the positioning of Swift, they're pretty much certain that they were going for base one, haven't they? They positioned themselves straight away, and already it looks like we're almost going to get a fight here down at D6, Mojo. It looks like they're ready to engage around this corner as Decha spotted.
Oh, big hit
Piotr. Oh, already hit 800. That's maybe two hits coming into him at once at the same time.
No. That was Mercy on E100.
Yep, E100's getting a shot into there and Call Me Piotr. So first damage coming out of Swift into out of range. That was a lovely shot from the E100. Atmospheric in E100, poking around the corner again. Absolutely annihilated here on the gun line. Oh, laddie, you just poked way too hard there. Vala takes him out there in the T57, but Raging Potato's taking a lot of damage in return as he backs off. Crazy exchange here at the start, Mojo.
Rarely you can see an occasion when E100 disappears in such fashion. Decha and Raging are on really low HP, so it's all about the control of the cap, because at the moment HP and positions are Swift.
Tanks already dropping up. Brawl down at D6, D7 looks crazy as we see a tank dropping in the middle. Deha Road, Call Me Piotr already dropping in an instant. Mazerki's here in the middle of the cap circle fighting off against Senti and Dezek. Dezek in the AMX 1390. Vala getting a shot here probably on Skylex as he's on a slow reload. Mazerki's just pulling off against Senti. He should be able to survive that against IS-7, but he's only going to be 2 shots more to him. Mazerki needs to try and pick a target. He looks like he's going to try and go for Vala, who's peeking around the corner, and he eliminates him.
It was a smart choice by Mersky. He just chose Vala because he's a clipper and a bigger danger. IS-7, you can always count on his 12 to 13 second reload, but that 57 can take out tanks. Now Dezek is the only person alive from out of range, and it is not gonna end well for him. He's been chased by tier 9 Batshot.
Dezek here being chased by Mikhailov, so this looks like game number 1 going to go to Swift. They had the setup where they were looking for a brawl, they found the brawl, and they were able to just focus down the targets there of out of range. So pretty unfortunate for out of range there, Mojo.
It was really, I can't say unfortunate, because it was the kind of the game they just chose. Yeah. Fast cap with some defensive pressure, but it was just not enough against these two E100s. They should have made a better plan, because you saw that even while approaching, they were taking damage. Swift had all the time reserve back plan, how to decap, how to stop them from creating any kind of pressure on that cap, while the other guys were dealing with their forces. So, okay, they knocked out that E100, which has 2700 HP, and then they just went out of the juice. There were no more shells to give to anyone else. So the clippers out of Swift then came and just started wiping them out one by one.
Yep, in a way, I mean, you take an E100 to be a bullet sponge. In a way, the E100 served its purpose. Losing him at the start, not so great, but the fact that he was able to take so many hits into him and then allow the rest of his team to get return shots, that's kind of what you take the heavies for.
It's not only that. Let's not forget that they were holding by 2 guys, in the cap 3 guys. And so they all the time had overmatch 5 to 4. Well, they were fighting in a city and they won it by far.
Okay, so let's have a look at the damage they have done in that battle and see who came out on top for their team. So Skylex, Pro and Vala there, Mojo and the T57 Heavies.
57 Heavies in the late days are proving to be a real asset. In the start, we were wondering why was everyone spamming them so much, but fast shooting, fast reload, sometimes can bounce a shell, not when you're 19 degrees to E100, that doesn't happen ever then. But a tank with a lot of value, because in a close combat fight where you don't have to drive around much, it can pen better than 50B, and it can reload much faster for sure.
Actually, interesting there, the top player for, number 3 there actually, Mikhailov in Batchat tier 9.
He was the guy who pushed on Formula Jin and killed him in defilate, and then he was chasing on 3090, so his damage was not like a prime one, but it was there all the time.
And there we see, sadly, Atmospheric down there at 13. He was only able to get 1 shot off, but he got wrecked at the start of the road. Oh, Rhodes, man, you're my fantasy teammate. This is not good to see. 39.
Never mind, you have Diploma to carry you.
39 damage from Rhodes there. So, match number 1 going to Swift, and quite a strong showing, I would guess. I mean, they still had 4 tanks and a decent amount of HP still left on the board as well. Plus, the match was nice and quick. So, let's actually have a look at some of the highlights here from the match mode. Talk us through this bit.
This is how Atmospheric is disappearing. He is just perma-checked there. He cannot pull back. But they ran out of the shells, as we said. And this is the fight here. Look, Road and Mirsky are actually holding off these guys on a cap, so they cannot create any additional pressure. And those two E100s, they might not be the top damage dealers, but it takes such a long time to kill them. And every time they hit, it's like 750, 800 damage. So it's worth a while because other guys are able to do that damage freely, much more freely.
So it's unfortunate there from out of range. They still have another battle to try and perhaps get one back here on Ghost Town and make it 1-1. But Swift looking strong, and now Swift are going to be the ones on the attack.
It looks like Swift learned on their mistakes. Like this time the counterattack was timed. They put enough tanks where they needed, and they just held the control of the game all the time.
Okay, so let's have a look at the vehicles used for this next battle now, with Swift on the attack and out of range on the defense. Does anything jump out of you there, Mojo?
Well, you can see yourself, both teams have tier 9 Conquerors now. We've seen those not perform that well in this league. I mean, we've seen a couple of guys getting blown up, Amorect, like with full HP on them, Dudulinho from the Wild Bunch, Haiba from Kazna. So most of the teams by now actually gave up on them. I really don't know why they're picking them. I guess because they really want that additional DPM. Since out of range is defending, this is kind of really fast lineup for that. And Swift is getting heavier again. I don't know. I kind of like Swift's lineup more.
Okay, so another kind of brawl type setup from Swift here on the attack. So it'll be interesting to see how that's used. It doesn't look like a we're going to cap team. It looks like we want to fight you team.
No, this is... They have nothing to cap with. I mean, they can put a butt shot, but that would be a suicide. So no, this is a fight lineup.
Okay, so let's go into battle number 2 on Ghost Town with Swift versus Out of Range. Can Swift take it to 2-0, or will Out of Range pull it back to 1-1? They have everything to play for, these teams, so it's certainly going to be interesting, Mojo.
Now, every one of them now really must to make sure that they don't lose a single map 2-0, because that's usually a downfall for the team. I mean, if Swift takes this advantage now, it will be really hard for Out of Range to come back in a game in any way. But there we go, Crespix and the guys, they're going immediately lower away. That means they will not pressure the caps unless they can to do it for free on number 2 cap, on middle one.
Kerloff, luckily in a situation where the tanks that he spotted are not reloaded yet, although you have Merziki there has now loaded. Batchats will just be coming off reload just now by about 9-20 seconds into the battle. So everyone now is shells in the chamber, ready to go. It's just a case of feeling each other out and spotting each other out.
Mersky, no one actually had a chance to take a shot at him. It's really decent spot that everyone does there. It's timed, so you can see the tanks before they're loaded and before they can do anything, unless you have really fast single shooter tanks that will actually go that way. They might connect something, but none of these guys had. But look at the careless position of Kerov.
Kerloff getting shot in the back there from one that was Vala.
Kerov just peeked right there in that defilade where we followed him in his butt shot, and he peeked to see what's up, and he got what's up in 2 shots.
Kerloff taking 2 there, Vala taking 1 just as he poked round the corner. It's a nice sweeping camera angle there, so we had a switch from street to street there.
Oh my god, he got one again while he was running away now.
Kerloff, mate, keep your head down, they know where you are. There's no need to jump about too crazy. To see Rhodes and Senti here just trying to exchange shots here, just poking up over the middle base. Swift quite an aggressive push down the bottom here, Mojo.
I wouldn't call it aggressive, this is really step by step, but this is kind of thoughtful, and Out of Range is in disarray. They're just trying to run away and they're picking up shells in their back all the time.
Call me Piotr there getting hit for 799. It's probably a shot from Atmospheric getting a hit into him as he runs off, as we see return fire come from Out of Range. But Out of Range's health is dropping like crazy. We see Decha now down onto 531 health, and we see Common Piotr down to 834, and he has a damaged gun. Out of Range sitting on 10,275, with Swift sitting on 12,457. So Out of Range have pretty much now a 3k advantage almost over Swift. Oh, other way, this one.
This is a big counter-attack now, massing up from Out of Range side. They really know that in this positional fight they have no gains to get, so they will try to gather up here and maybe make a crossfire and push on some secluded tank. But Swift they're kind of reading them all the time, and they're already prepared for that.
So where has this Swift team been the rest of the season so far, Mojo?
They've been here and there, but mostly there. Like, I don't know, sometimes they really, as we said, seem real. They seem steady on the ground, planned. They're kind of thoughtful. What will they do? Several steps ahead. But in some of the games, they were just suiciding for no need. And here, Piotr with a damaged gun on that 50B, not gonna be cool. A lot of guys on low HP, just getting wrecked one by one.
Yeah,
like Potato is just perma-tracked there.
Every time someone's peeking from out of range, there is a Swift gun waiting on them. As Crispix, I was just going to say earlier on, is stalking the tanks round the bottom here. He's been stalking Kerlov, and he's managed to get a crossfire in and drop Call Me Piotr. So that's first tank down in this game as it's gone to Swift. And everywhere out of range pushes right now, they're just being shot. There's this angles coming in from Swift. They just know exactly where they are to make the moves. Out of range can't get any kind of foothold in this match whatsoever. Like, you saw Raging Potato advance up there on the corner, and he gets tracked and then gets about 3 shots into him. Desik now taking a shot, Atmospheric taking a couple of shots in return to Swift, but Desik, Atmospheric actually taking more than a couple of shots there. But there, Raging Potato's now dropped. It's just, the minute somebody moves somewhere and out of range, Mojo, somebody else is getting dropped.
Swift has all the angles covered. You can see how they're positioning from the lower side, and they are always covered by the rest of the guys. They pinpoint one guy, and out of range never has enough firepower anywhere to cover each other. They're just falling like dominoes one by one. You don't see a big cluster fight of a lot of tanks somewhere and something happening. No, you just see one guy by one losing HP and dying, and then someone else tries to cover him and dies after him. This is really not looking well for out of range.
So all we have left on out of range is Kerlov. I was about to say also Decha, but he just gets eliminated by Merziki. So now we have just Kerlov left on out of range. Swift still have 5 tanks, 6 tanks available in the battlefield. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Battle number 2 goes to Swift. So
if Ducky was here, we would say this ended rather swiftly.
Rather swiftly, yes. And the match was just out of range for the other opponents, yes. So, Mojo, another comfortable game there for Swift.
Yes, it just looks like they're laying back in their chairs and they're like, okay, we're gonna take these angles. Oh, here's the enemy. Like, just take this, shoot him up, and they just fall. Tuck, 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 and they're gone.
This is not the team that played against Rusty Roster earlier on. You would have thought they should have been beating Rusty Roster quite comfortably, and I think that match really hurt them. And Swift are like, no, we need these points. Like, we want to take these points.
If they manage to preserve this kind of play till the end of the match, they actually have a chance to stay in the next part of the season. So it's all up to them. No one else will win it for them or lose it for them.
It's a very fair point. Let's have a look at the stats and see where the damage came from in that battle. Pretty sure. Oh wow, I was going to say pretty sure the autoloaders would be up the top, but we actually have Atmospheric and E100 there and Swift on top, and right behind them is Decha and the AMX 50B for out of range.
Decha, Senti, they're doing well for out of range, but it's just not enough. Honestly, like, even that damage doesn't really matter because none of it was done in some kind of big team play. It was really sporadic all over the place. And most of the focus fire was always done by Swift. Always and always. We've seen at least 2,000 or 3,000 HP lost by out of range before they could even return fire. They were just trying to run away from some positions and they were getting shot all the time.
By the time they were in a position to return fire, they didn't really, like you're saying, they didn't have the HP to trade with them. So they would poke out to get their shot, but they would take 2 in return. So for every 1 shot they were doing, 2 were coming back at them, and obviously you can't sustain that.
I mean, really nice performance by Swift here. You can't say they did anything super special. It was just a really normal play, but no mistakes by their side, not big ones that would cost them anything. From out of range, really shaky performance. I don't know, maybe they will be better on next map, but next map is also city map.
Okay, yes, the next map is going to be Himmelsdorf. So Himmelsdorf for these teams, Mojo, is a advantageous map for any of these teams, while we have a quick look at the highlights?
Well, so far, not really, because none of them were performing that well about it. Like, out of range has about 30% win rate, and this guy is even less. But these moments here are just the ending moments for out of range.
The last dying breath of out of range there on Ghost Town as they just let it go. There's nothing left but ghosts on the battlefield for them.
Well, they can take a breather now because they have a little time to gather up their forces before the Himmelsdorf. At the moment, none of them really played it brilliantly. I mean, at the start of the season, one would say that Swift should at least play it really well.
Yeah.
But they've been flunking all over the place. They were caught a lot of times in bad rotations. I don't know, maybe they learned the lesson because none of them performed on it.
Okay, so let's have a look at the vehicles going to be used here on Himmelsdorf for both of these teams. As we can see, Swift are going to be the ones on attack, and we have out of range on the defense. Now, notice there's a TD being used there for one of the British TDs.
Well, on Swiss side, we have a Grille in attack, so that's kind of a normal lately. And okay, some of the heavies, FV heavies, are rarely used now in attack. But on defense, from out of range, FV TD pretty standard. It's only, we already said many times, it's really needed for that one to make, during the fight, not after, one big shot. Like one shot for 1.7, 1.8k, possibly 2k if you're lucky, and you have a large chance to win a game. Also, they have that E5 that is probably gonna stay in a base and just cover the 2 caps so they cannot cap it easily.
Okay, so we're ready to jump into map number 2, Mojo. So it's going to be Swift versus Out of Range. Swift 2-0 up. Can Out of Range pull a match back? Let's find out as we jump straight into the map.
Himmelsdorf, a small city map. The teams start the battle in opposite corners. Both bases are located close to each other, but in a way that you can't stay on the defensive all the time. The main attack routes pass through the hill, the alley and the railroad. But in general, the attack can be successfully executed through any part of the map. Heavy tanks and tank destroyers with powerful guns run the show here. However, a lot depends on the mobile light tanks.
Okay, so here we go, ready for the action. Swift on attack, Out of Range on defense.
And we are not moving.
Oh, you ready?
You know why?
Hey!
Surprise! As usual, because it's all about us and not about the game, of course.
So let's talk more about Himmelsdorf, Mojo. Now, a popular tank I see used a lot of the time here on Himmelsdorf, which is a heavy tank, which will help me talk about something perhaps later on, AMX 50B.
50B is, since we've lost Waffen, E100 TD, he was the main clipper in the game at that time, really defensive force. That tank was really killing all kind of attacks. It was a big problem because it changed meta. So I guess that's why they changed to Grille, who is a fast mobile TD but a single shooter. Now everyone was looking for some kind of replacement, so they are mainly because of that using a 50B because it's a fast, heavy, the fastest one probably. It has a decent gun depression, which is not really needed for this kind of fights. And sometimes it can bounce a shell if you are lucky. So mainly everyone just uses it for fast rotation and trying to do those 4 shells in someone hip if they really can. If they can't, then frontal if you must.
So when you're taking a 50B, is the intention you're just wanting to get 1 clip off, or are you banking on trying to get 2 clips off?
No, of course, never. 1 clip is never enough. It's just not enough, because 1 clip of that will not kill a tank entirely. Like, you need to be in position to fire off, and you're fast enough to run away. You don't have to have huge HP when you run away, but you should be alive and an extra gun in the game. While you're doing that, the remainder of your team, the single shooters, should take over, do the damage, buy time till you reload, and then you're already back.
Okay.
So that's how it should be in theory.
And the TDs that normally get used on Himmelsdorf, we see very rarely E3, E4. Or E3 is never going to be really the E4, is it? The FV215B183 and the other FV that we just
405.
saw. Yeah.
So there is different tactics you play with these. Mainly these TDs are used in different fashion. Like E3 has a lot of armor, so he will go forward, he will try to play a hold down and then smack someone a big fat alpha of 750 average, and then they will push other tanks. But also you have FV British TDs, we already said they really need to do some dirty shots of those, because with hash ammo on especially French tanks or something like that, they can pull up to 2k damage. So the guys that play them really well know to time it, when to come with their team, when to take a shot and then maybe even pull back and then do another one. And then they're a big asset to a team. The guys that don't know to position well usually are always late. They lose half of their team before they fire the first shot, and then it really doesn't matter because they're just singled out and shot off.
Okay, so lots to think about when choosing the specific TD for the situation then, yeah?
It's based on tactics.
Tactically, okay. What we can actually do is, because we've got a little bit of a break here, as there's an issue with one of the teams, we can actually have a look at the top 5 highlights from the European region from last week. So let's just bring up that video and see how things went. Danny's just trying to bait out somebody below him, but obviously you have Hellfish there waiting to cover fire. Lichbar gets himself spotted on their flank, probably.
Ooh, that's a one-shot!
Whoa! Diplomat! Pulling it out the bag and showing Knackerbroad this is not a guy to give any kind of leeways to. He is going to punish you when he's in artillery,
and that is why... He just disappeared from the map!
I think they just accepted that they're going to lose it, and they're perhaps just talking amongst themselves. Or they might still have a plan here. Failure's going up to try and get a shot onto Diplomat. Doesn't say... Oh! Diplomat, take a bow, son. What a fantastic shot.
It's the counter from Utopia. It's actually going to work phenomenal. Kiki, they're going to drive straight into Muka and Forbidden if they keep going like this. This is great stuff from Utopia. The counter play. Oh, Roy, poor Kiki.
Kiki, you have just driven out into the open here. You're going to get eliminated by the guns off. Oh, wow. Crossfire coming in. You can see the angles, 3 different locations. Phenomenal's going to be the next one down. That has been an absolute bait and extremely well played by Utopia. 20 seconds. He's able to help out. He kills Gremic. Bishu survives. Bishu needs to know. No, Cactus kills Bishu. Muck is the only one alive for Utopia. Can he hang on for 10 seconds?
I don't think he can.
Halu's got a reload. Cactus is coming in behind him. Muka's not going to survive this. It's going to go right down to the wire. Rage quit. You need to kill him. You need to kill him. You have 1 second, lads. Come on.
It's a push out here from Legend. Oh! Desik!
Desik wrecks Ebeb for 1,700 damage. He gets a shot back off from another team, and that's Ebeb drop. El Nino's drop. They've lost 250Bs already. Legend, this is an absolutely horrendous start. Davidoff trying to run in there onto Formula Adin.
Prosto, the worst mistake ever!
Prosto tried and overextends a little bit here, but he's okay as he picked up L-Train. Now he needs to make sure every single shell onto Agorni goes through, so Pashka can come in and clean up here. He only has 1 more shell. Does he make it?
Agorni, did you count?
Oh, Prosto!
54 seconds.
Prosto needs to stick to shell here for Pashka, because Pashka needs 3 shells. Agorni could reload in that time. Great play from Agorni here, repositioning behind the wreck.
Also.
He needs to pick up Pashka. Agorni needs to pick up Pashka here. As he does, he picks up Pashka. Can he pick up Prosto as well? Agorni in the MP215B needs 1 more shell. Prosto gets around the corner.
Heartbreaking moments here.
Close stuff here now. Both of these tanks on a 1-shot. Agorni, he can do it.
We were talking about the boy. It's time to shine. Come on.
Oh my god, this is cheeky. Agorni, he thinks Prosto will just come full speed around the corner. They spot each other out. Agorni misses! Prosto picks it up!
So, some excellent highlights there. Very strange listening to my own voice like that again. Certainly had some very exciting matches. That one with Prosto at the end was the amount of times Yundaki said, Prosto!
I mean, that was really ludicrous moment. Agorni almost pulled it off, but almost was a key word, and I especially really like those diplomat shots there. Kind of hilarious.
Diplomat one-shots were disgusting. The first one was fantastic because he got Leechbar, just got spotted, sat there for a little bit too long, and then boom, he was gone.
Clickers.
Totally out of the game. So I believe everyone's ready to go right now as we can jump into Himmelsdorf as we go into map number 2. Swift sitting at 2, out of range sitting at 0. How's it going to go this one, Mojo?
Well, if all the players start moving, atmospheric included, we will see in a couple of seconds. by this moment, Swift was really much better on planning and execution. So far, out of range was kind of off. It looks like they're still waking up after a long slumber, and it didn't look really realistically. I don't see them winning this. That's the problem.
So out of range positioning most of their team down the 1-2 line. We have Desik going out to scout, and we have Vala covering the A line. Now, Desik is going to get himself spotted. Is he going to get through here? He looks like he's okay where he is. But quite a strong push, Mojo, from out of range down this 1-2 line.
They really went aggressive. Maybe they will try to catch off someone, and then we might have a strong rotation coming in from Swift, because they're ready for this. You can see by their positions, there is not a single individual that can get caught off. They already suffered some moments when they left one tank on 8 line alone. I don't think that will happen ever again. So Road is the only guy who can die here, but even he has an extraction route through those buildings that we've seen used yesterday on Himmelsdorf.
Yes, so this area where Road is, we do not want a fight to happen in there, because it was quite a nightmare to try and work out where the angles were and where the shots were coming from. Not a common area for teams to fight in, so pretty difficult to call out how that one went down, and pretty crazy as well, because nobody really knew where was a safe area or not.
If you were ever wondering what is the craziest round on Himmelsdorf, check out yesterday Rage Quit and Rusty roster. The fight was mainly in those alleys between the buildings that you can barely fit a tank through, and there were like at the time 4 of them.
Yep. So basically H3 and H4 was where the fighting happened, in between those buildings, not on the main road. So.
But here you go, aggressive actions here from Swift. He is spotting here the courtyard. He already managed to proxy on Raging Potato, who will have to play much careful now because of the grille aiming from the hill. And they are getting a clear pass without any damage to the 2 cap.
So as we see Swift pushing up here on the 8 line, came up what's known as the Banana Road. You'll probably start to see out of range rotate back up with the 1-2 line now that they know that's where Swift are starting to make their push. How do you see this one going, Mojo? Do you think they're going to play it cautious, or do you think they're going to get an absolute firefight on the base soon?
Well, Desik is really well positioned, so Santi, if he manages to get a shot, especially on that grille, he can like splatter him all over the map. But it's kind of a tricky one, and it really needs to be a lucky one also. So they have an E5 where Vale is here. This is a really good position, and he can decap practically both of the caps without big risk. While that is going on, out of range has several other tanks down, who are probably afraid of NHS. But is Mirsky trying to switch road? Like, there is a tactic that Navi used long ago. They actually flipped the 1390 and then they pushed him to the cap, so he has a smaller silhouette and it's really hard to decap him. I'm really interested, did they manage to do it, or he just entered it now? No, he just entered, so they didn't.
just went in on his own there, yeah.
I think it needs to be a fatter tank like E100, then he can just bump him.
Yeah, so we have out of range now starting to come back up. I was just going to say they're hanging around there, round about J2, H2 area for a bit too long there for my liking, but now they actually realise what they need to do. Kerloff's going to be the one who's sitting, covering the back, probably going to try and rotate around as Atmospheric can head him off. Vanla's got a good position there, hasn't he, Mojo?
The key player, actually, is Kerloff. He's the only guy who can decap this without taking any significant damage. Now, that position where Atmospheric is, this is a moment where he can just flip over, fire a shot at Rhodes back and go back, and that's the decap. But it looks like Swift is really aware of it, so this looks like it's going to be a huge fight when it starts.
So, a blind shot coming out there from Raging Potato?
Yeah, there is no panic yet, but sooner or later, Swift will just put one more tank there to boost the cap and provoke the reaction.
So once that happens, the tank, whoever comes round from out of range, is going to have to come along this in between the AB line, as it looks already like out of range are starting to position for this. As Vala's going to be the one to go in for the cap reset. Takes 2 shots as he comes in, needs to get one single shot on Road, or Road's just going to be there to force Road to back off.
It's really cheap. It's really cheap because Vala received only 2 shots and the pressure is off. This is a really important moment for out of range, because Road knew in next seconds he will be decapped, so he had to run away. But we still have a couple of out of range guys down.
Okay, so out of range trying to rotate around here. Atmospheric's spotted by Kerloff, so they know Atmospheric's around this corner, but he has the rubble there, so there's only his turret's going to be poking out. It's going to make him quite a hard target to shoot. Have to be careful there's no counter rotation coming from out of range around the top of Swift and through the base. It's all really on Swift's positioning here and where they can get the angles and shots.
Well, Vale is here in a bit of a pickle at the moment, but it's nothing that they can't handle yet. It's only 4 minutes and 4.5 minutes till the end. And he's getting HE spam, hellish plans.
So there comes the push round the bottom as we see the 3 tanks of Out of Range pushing into Atmospheric. Shots going to come in from behind them. They're going to try and focus Atmospheric. But the minute they stick their head around this corner, the rest of Swift are going to turn and shoot them back. As you see Rodley in the 1390. All the shots coming in here to Atmospheric. Call Me Pure's gone past. Atmospheric's actually bouncing a lot of shots. Deha and Raging Potato here in the corner getting absolutely annihilated. Skylex Pro's getting a free clip into Raging Potato. No shots coming back in return. Call Me Pure's now getting himself caught in a crossfire between tanks. He's the first one to drop. Out of Range have just driven into Swift's guns here. That was a really bad push, Mojo.
They didn't even pan all the chance. Atmospheric actually managed to go over those rubbles. We've seen it happen many times so far. That the player actually pulls through and runs away there. Mirsky playing a hard turret against Senti, so he's hoping that he will not be penned, and he wasn't. Senti didn't do much damage to him, and that's what we spoke. This TD, if he doesn't do a big one, it's useless.
A great play there from Swift as they just held their nerve and held their line. Out of Range just drove around this corner. They only have 2 tanks left, almost won. Actually now down to 2 tanks. The only person left is Deha. He's on a reload right now, so he's just going to get eliminated by Krepix once he's reloaded. He'll actually reload quicker from Krepix. He's trying to just ram him before the rest of his teammates come in. Wow, Swift, you guys are really kind of stepping up right now.
I can't say it's even their great play. I mean, they're just doing standard stuff, and Out of Range is kind of suiciding all over the place.
Yeah.
At one moment, Out of Range had control of the map. Why did they even push on Atmospheric? I really don't understand that part. I mean, Swift was actually the ones that were stuck there. They had no control. They had to pull road away from the cap. That means sooner or later they would have to choose a way where to push on Out of Range. And then, in that moment, without any cap pressure, without any real need, Out of Range just says, okay, we see a maybe opening here. Yeah. Let's go and take it. But they even didn't... I mean, they even knew where the most of the Swift team is. Like, they knew they will be shot like that.
It was 3 of them. 3 of them went in to try and deal with him. They didn't kill him. Call Me Piotr drove on ahead. He just got singled out and eliminated. But they just sat in the corner taking shots. And they like 3 tanks didn't kill the 1 tank they were going for.
Even if they killed him, it would change nothing because the exchange was horrible for them. All the other guys that were rotating from the back, like Dezek and Kerov, were already stopped by Swift guys. And this really didn't help. Yeah, it was kind of a strange play there from Out of Range. Let's have a look at the damage statistics for that battle and actually see who came out on top for their team. So we have there Merziki in the E5 for Swift, and then right behind them we have Skylex Pro in the AMX-50B, able to get off a double clip. We already mentioned that Skylex is their main clipper here, and when he does well, they are usually winning. Mersky on that E5 really outperformed here. We even saw how he tanked some damage from that FETD, and he's really doing it well. Deha, top damage dealer for Out of Range, but simply not enough, not enough. Everyone else in the team just did an average dispositional damage, but that's it. Oh, look at number 5 there was Road, and Road was in an AMX 1390. 5th place damage in that battle on top of all these other tanks. Yeah, he had some time to wiggle between the tanks and do some damage unspotted. I mean, no one really wanted to focus him out because there were bigger fish to fry. But Senti here, only 1 shot connected. That was the point blank shot on E5. I think, yeah, he probably damaged them. I mean, it wouldn't be HE splash back onto him, but 676 is a pretty rubbish roll, really, for taking that tank. You don't want that tank to do... I mean, you expect him at least a minimum of 1,000 in those battles, aren't you? Oh, you're expecting him to actually aim and pen those shells on time. Yeah, there was 4. I think it was 4 shots and only that 1 shot, one damage. Yes, so not a good display again by Out of Range. And this is the moment we were saying Atmospheric is already safe. He ran away. Kerov was already dead. For that situation, for 1 tank, they lost 3. And here, Merziki just played great against these 2 tanks, just baiting the TD, going up at him at point blank, making it really difficult for the TD to choose his shot. And then getting the kill there onto Kerlov as well. It was just a bad push by Out of Range. And honestly, the position they are now in, I mean, even Vale is very aware of it. It's not accidental. It is as it is. Yeah, and I mean, before the match as well, we were trying to pick out the key players for each team. We were talking about it before, and we said, okay, so
on this team. You've got these guys in for out of range. We couldn't quite say like this guy all the time's consistent for his team.
They've been playing. They've been exchanging who plays, and then they had ups and downs in plays. A lot of misplays also. So we really couldn't point out who will do the carrying. Like Deha is usually the one playing most stable, and he's a good steady guy, just not enough.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's done mistakes on his own also.
So let's have a look at the tanks used in second round here on Himmelsdorf. Now, I mentioned earlier on, Mojo, about the 50B. Now, we see T57 heavies being used for Swift.
Interesting for defense of Swift here. That's a pretty hefty lineup here. You have two 57s for that fast clipping we've been talking about. That means they will not do big rotations with them. And they have an FVTD but 183, not 405. So 405 is better when you want to relocate from A to B, but he has no real armor. But FVTD actually can bounce a shell or two. But it also means they will really not attempt any big rotations. So they will be probably stuck around that upper cap quite a lot.
Okay, so as we get prepared for this match now, the difference of the 215B 183 Mojo, is that because he's just planning to just plank down himself somewhere that's in a window or something like that?
FV183, no, he will usually be in the same spot as that 405. Like, he has no real need to go anywhere else. Because anywhere else he can be spotted. The point of those FVTDs is to be out of the range of the enemy and to fire on them before they can see them first time. And then when they go in brawl, they just need to be close to some tank and fire that one shot. And then what happens, happens after.
So the 183's nickname is the Death Star. Let's see if it can actually eliminate any of the enemy tanks just now as we get ready for Swift on the defense for Himmelsdorf, sitting 3-0 up, out of range, Zero matches on the board here. Can he bring one back? Let's find out as we jump into action on Himmelsdorf. Okay, Swift. Are you going to make it 4-0 here? Are we going to get a Swift match tonight, Mojo?
I think Daki will be very happy, but that 183 has potential 5 out of 7 people he can actually one-shoot with good penetration, and the remaining 2 are 113s. Well, of those 2300, he can shave off like easy 2K.
It's Daki that's the jinx when it comes to tiebreakers. I've noticed this.
We've noticed. I'm gonna give you to cast all the matches.
If it's me and you, it generally is nice quick matches, nice fluid matches, quite exciting matches as well. If it's me and Daki or if it's you and Daki, tiebreaker written all over it.
Yeah, he's kind of a jinx.
Jinx as well. Another nice camera angle here as we see the tanks go in position. And Mihailov.
This is really interesting.
Mihailov's parked himself in a building here.
This is rather interesting.
It's just going to be proxy spotting, really. He can't really do much else, can he?
Yeah, but he can like really see them if they're rotating. He can be quite annoying before he teams comes. It's a nice new position we've seen. I would really like to see what can he even spot there, except the railroad. It's kind of a new position we haven't seen used so far in the league. But look at the amount of crossfire there on the 8 line. There is a really big, as we said, they really don't want to rotate much. So majority of the tanks is there. So the biggest danger is on one cap, and that's my guess why Mikhailov is there, on that really specific position, to give them info on time so they can get things moving without getting capped.
So with Swift being on the defense, they have no real interest in going out hunting for out of range. We have our matches here are 10 minutes long, and if the clock runs down, then it's an automatic win for the defending team. So a lot of the time we see Skylex Pro just actually taking a hit there and getting a damaged gun. It's not going to be a good start. There's a shot coming down. Looks like Raging Potato got a shot down into him for 725 there.
He can repair it. He has a repair kit, but he was careless when he took that shot, because you must know as a pro player that through that gap you can get spotted and you can get shot by the people up. The thing is, when that Grilla was spotted, I'm wondering why FVTD wasn't aim already there to just splatter him.
Shooting back across, you mean from like the D3 area, yeah?
Yeah, I think he should have already been aimed there, and he should just like take him out immediately when he gets spotted.
It could have been a nuke, a long distance shot there. FVTD not really known for its accuracy at long range, but its shell does such devastating damage that many times out of 10 you just need to hit the target. You don't need to specifically aim at any particular weak spot. Just as long as the shell connects, it's usually a bad day for someone, isn't it, Mojo?
But there you go. This is a rotation, full rotation by out of range here. They saw what Swift is planning for them, so they don't want to take part in it, and they're moving. I'm really interested as Swift has actually planned response for any kind of out-of-range rotation on the rail. What is their plan for this?
So let's see what Mihailov is able to spot in a minute, because right now he's spotted himself, and it's only by Deha coming close to him. So Deha's drove over and basically said, guys, there's somebody hiding in this building, but the rest of his team hasn't been spotted by Mihailov's position. So they're going to back off, but none of them at that stage were spotted.
Yes, but if they start going through the H line, he will spot them. The moment this formula tries to go beyond this building, he will be spotted. There is nowhere else to pass. This turret of Mikhailov is sticking out of here, and he will see him. The question is, can they shoot him well? Now, out of range, seeing him here, they're anticipating, okay, there is a huge fire line made already up above us. I mean, if they only knew the truth, that Mikhailov is like a little boy without a dog behind him.
Yeah, it's just a dog barking. As soon as it comes off the leash, it just stops.
Yeah. But it seems like his barking is actually working, because they're moving back right into the trap of Swift.
Wow, so out of range, really not sure where they want to advance on the map. They try to rotate around on the west side here. Now they're rotating back round to the east side, and the east side is exactly where Swift is still sitting patiently waiting on them coming round, as it looks like Raging Potato is going to try another sneaky shot from up top, although he is spotted this time. Merzeki's spotted as well. Does he have a shot? No, but there is dust there, so it looks like Raging Potato took a snapshot down into Merzeki and missed.
And Mersky there can really one-shoot him, so Raging has to be ultra careful about that, because he needs like 3 shots to kill Mersky, and Mersky can just fire 1, and if he has a lucky shot, that's it. Bye-bye Raging immediately.
Mersky, not Merzeki. I need to remember that. Okay.
But out of range here, they're pushing over the courtyard, so it does look like they want to brawl on that 2 cap. Are they just aware that these guys didn't even rotate for a second?
So there's a rush through the middle in the courtyard from Komi Pyot, and we have Senti over there on the right-hand side as well. Komi Pyot giving up a lot of information as he advances there, but we have Vala and Deha coming up behind him. Formula Aden's going to rotate around the bottom as well. It looks a bit of, as you were saying, with Daki, courtyard control coming out here.
And Mersky can be in a big problem here now, because he in reality has no cover by anyone from his team. Like, unless he really pulls a big shot off in a start, he will be a dead dodo for free. That's why Swift is now pushing through the 8 line now. They're trying to utilize and make a big firefight there.
So Atmospheric's the first one to poke around the corners. He fires, the swings and a miss with the first shot doesn't connect, whereas the rest of his team and Swift are going to come round. You're trying to form a gun line down here around about D8 areas to try and get shots across into out of range. Out of range could be caught between a rock and a hard place if Merzeki decides to come through here and get shots off. You can see the first one coming there. Vala takes a shot. Rode is getting himself caught out just a little bit more than the rest. Decha and Vala are going to back off now. Senti is going to just back off a little bit as well. Out of range, have to be really careful that nobody gets caught in a crossfire. As we see a trade between Mendex and Kerloff Mojo up the top of the hill.
Ooh,
Mendex is the one that comes out
Mersky.
of that. Desha gets kill on Mihailov as well, as Merzeki is going to get himself caught in a crossfire. He's going to go the next one down. So that's going to be 2 tanks down to Swift, only 1 tank down and out of range, and it's going in out of range's favour right now, Mojo.
Yeah, the only guy that the FETD managed to shoot is a Raging Potato, and he survived while that was going on. Swift went in a bad crossfire by out of range, so they're kind of in a bad position now. Out of range is attacking. They have 3.5 minutes to think how to close this deal. Now we see Mendrex. He's trying to go up and take out Raging, because then he would have some kind of crossfire together with his guys, and he could eventually cover them. But Piotr taking so much damage here.
Piotr, laddie, like, you need to be careful. Right at the moment, out of range had a nice big advantage here, but Swift are starting to pull it back in. Now, Swift need to redraw their gun lines, pay attention to where out of range is, and then get shots in the back. There's lots of missed shots coming in from Swift as they're shooting down this line. As you see, Vala and Decha able to move up the top and perhaps come round for a flank into Swift. If Swift need to take advantage, we see Mendex taking out Raging Potato. That could be huge for how this fight goes, because that's a massive gun taken out of the battle. We see Atmospheric trying to poke round on Formula Aden. That's a great shot as well. 468, nice high roll. Huge damage again coming out. That's going to really affect how this battle goes, as Swift are starting to take back control, Mojo.
Oh, at the moment, like, out of range is doing everything possible actually to throw this game. Like, they are just splitting and dying one by one. Now they're relying on cap by 2 clippers in the last moments of the game. I really don't know how much benefit can it bring to them, because when this fight starts, they can be annihilated by Swift guys. They have enough HP to take care of them.
So crossfire here onto Senti by Atmospheric and Crispix. Atmospheric needs to be careful because you're going to see Decha and Vala coming round. They're going to clip into Atmospheric. Atmospheric needs to get around that corner now and fight off against Senti. He has one shot left him. Atmospheric gets dropped there by Komi Piotr in the back. Great work from Komi Piotr, who only has 7 health himself. They've moved out of the cap circle, but you see Mendex coming round.
Mendex is a key guy that we need to see here because he's coming with a full clip in. Vale, I think he has only 1 shell left here.
Mendex need to make sure he gets all his shots count. Mendex, you hang around here for too long, mate. You're going to take a return shot and die. Vala's on a reload. He's trying to back off around the corners. Deha gets shot at by Road and Skylex. Both Road and Skylex can be dropped really easily. Formula Adden takes out Mendex there, who is at the top of the base. And now we only have 2 tanks left for Swift. We have 4 tanks left for out of range. Everybody apart from Road on Swift, however, is a one-shot. This can go anyone's way still right now.
If Road takes Senti, they will have some ground to fight. Now we need to see, do they have the clips? Do they have the clips? Because Rose is the only guy who can keep them in a game, and it's not going to happen.
The 250Bs reload there for out of range, and they're able to come back into the match and finish it off. So we have 3-1 here, Swift out of range. That was quite a scrappy matchup there, Mojo.
It was like scrappy all over the place, like so many mistakes and bad reads by both teams, and then execution at the end I really don't understand. Out of range had opportunities to finish this match several times, I think, before. They just got scared and didn't try to do it. And even after bad display in shooting here by Swift, I mean, they were trapped really well. That was okay, but they lost almost entire map control. I still don't understand why did Out of Range try to like just spread the forces all over the battlefield without eyes, dying one by one, losing so much HP all over the place. It was so weird.
It was a bit like Ghost Time, where every time they went somewhere, there was a gun waiting for them, and they kind of played into Swift's hands for a while.
They almost threw this game.
Yeah,
after
definitely.
such advantage.
Let's have a look at the post-battle statistics. Let's actually see the damage done there across both teams. Deha coming out on top for his MX-50B for out of range, but then the very next person is Mendax there in the Batchat 25 for Swift. Then it goes back to next 3 players, all from out of range. We have Senti, Formula Adden, and Vala Mojo, with then Atmospheric and Crispix there for Swift coming in at 6 and 7.
Now you can see damages all over the place. Deha, as we mentioned before, key damage dealer here for out of range. We will see in the bottom why these guys didn't actually do well. Raging, only 1 shot connected from up there, and it was on FVTD, I know, when they shot each other actually.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, for a while that definitely looked like it was going to be in out of range's favour. Then they held off fighting on that D line for just a bit too long and allowed Swift to get back into it. But then in counter to that, Swift's shooting was really quite scrappy. You saw a lot of missed shots. You saw a lot of the time the camera was on a tank and you would see the shot just sail past the tank.
Well, we saw in this battle why are these both teams in a trouble at the moment, because there is a lot of bad decisions made all over the place that costed them in a lot of matches. This is a moment when Mirsky is actually dying here, getting caught by Piotr and Deha here. He just managed to fire 1 real shot, and it was on Grilla TD. That was after that taken by Mendex. It was okay move for Swift, but just the last fight here, Atmospheric, losing this HP was kind of unusual for the last place they did here. Road really had no chance to do anything. He had to take care of some people, but there was no way to kill them all because T57 was with broken Amorek and
Atmospheric,
really couldn't help him.
Atmospheric more or less threw it away there because he thought, I'm going to go around and I'm going to shoot the tank here. It was Senti he wanted to shoot at, but it was the 2 AMXs that were in the cap. So realistically, he should have been thinking, I'll try and shoot an AMX or pull back. And instead, he drove across the gun lines of the AMXs and right in front of Senti.
He lost the HP. That was actually a big difference in this game. But we will see how will they fare in the next map.
In the next map, yes, we're going to go on to map number 3, which is Steps. So a completely different map from the 2 enclosed maps that we were just playing on. Very wide open, Mojo. What can we see here from the 2 teams?
Well, for first time, we need to know that Out of Range has 0% success here. They played total of 2 games, but Swift is a bit better. They also played only 2 games, but they just actually won 1 of them. So they're a bit better. At the moment, Swift in attack has Grille, so this is fairly nice. I7, so you can play some cooldown. and Lorraine Arty. Now this setup can be used to also intercept the boosts and to dig out entrenched enemies, so we will see how will they play it out. Out of range in defense, also playing with the Lorraine Arty, that's kind of an unusual. We haven't seen it used that much.
Okay.
It's okay, especially when you want to decap, but for spotting then you need those bachats. If you really want to boost them with this kind of lineup, it can be a big problem, because how will you spot the people that are trying to stop you from doing it?
Okay, so we're ready to go for map number 3 here, Swift versus Out of Range on Steps.
Steps, the most open map in the league. The attacking team appears near the rocks at the bottom of the map, and the defending team starts at the top. Bases are located near the railway and on the green. The best way to control them is to use the lowland near the second base. The attacking team usually begins the attack from the rocks and the railway, but sometimes they can attack through the green. Teams often drag vehicles from flank to flank, so both teams usually pick light vehicles with a good camouflage rating, but sometimes use tanks with a strong turret and even SPGs.
So, as the announcer said there, even SPGs, as we see, one apiece from each side. So, Mojo, are we going to get a boost here from out of range?
Look at this really fast spotting by Mendex and Skylex. They're immediately trying to gain field advantage, and they want to see if someone is boosting on A2 and A3 positions. So they will know. Oh, the fail on the other side.
Kerloff and Raging Potato make a bit of a whoopsie in that one as they try to boost. Are they going to try and line up for it again? That's going to be really telling, because that's more time wasted for out of range as they try and get that set up.
Really aggressive here play by Swift. I like it. This is how it should be done. And they're progressing and getting big advantage here on this part of the field. It looks like they're trying again.
The gap's too big. I don't think that's going to work. It's going to be like a snooker shot. Needs to be closer to him from what I understand.
Huh.
Oh, he's done it. But I mean, that's 14 damage he's taken in total. He took 4 on the first one.
The damage is not important if he actually manages to pull it off and get up there. But in reality now, when he gets up there, if they trigger this cap and they position well, they will be in a problem still, because someone has to spot a cap, and that guy can really die as much as the guy on a cap doing the pressure.
So Kerloff able to get up into that area around A9, A0 area. That gives out of range good coverage across map position, or sorry, base 2, but they don't really have much position across base 1, where Swift have set up shop here and kind of staked out this area as their own. They know that they don't have anyone on the hill above them at A1, A2, A3, because they were able to rush across and spot the area out, as you were saying, Mojo. How's it going to go for the rest of this match, though?
We need to see, will Road actually push all the way toward the rail, because Mirsky is aimed up, and Road with his turret, if he's fired upon, actually might spot that botshot. So we will see how far Road actually wants to go. Everyone else is just aimed to shoot on any kind of rotation, and it looks like Atmospheric will trigger the cap in the same moment.
So from his position, does Mirsky have a good line of fire straight onto the Batcha on Kerloff, yeah?
Hey, you can't say it's a direct, but it's a better, because that's the most elevated position you can actually get there. And that's a good aim for him. Like easy targets on heavy tanks, always.
So nice shot coming in there from Mirsky onto the IS-7 of Senti. Sorry, the I-113 of Senti. They're just kind of letting him know where he is and saying, hey, like, back off, my team's going to cap right now. See Atmospheric and Skylex doing in the cap, and Atmospheric just doing the dance as Decha is spotted.
This is a double cap pressure now. Road is here really annoying, so he is making sure that no one comes to spot from that side, and everyone else is aligned to shoot the other side where the enemy might come from. So this is a huge pressure now, and sooner or later one of the out-of-range tanks will have to go offensively and try to spot them if they don't connect. You can see by these tracers how far are they even missing these blind shots.
So there's a rotation coming around the bottom here as actually both tanks from Swift back out of the cap circle. It looks like they want to deal with this. Mihalov is spotted there in the middle as Decha is the one who's moving across here in the middle. He's taken a huge amount of damage, almost half his health, as he's advanced into that position to try and get some spots off. With no shots in return on to Swift, or no damage in return to Swift, is they're able to get shots. There's another one coming into Decha from Mihalov there in a great position. He had to keep himself protected from the rest of out of range. Decha now with a dead gunner. That's going to really affect his aiming and going to make it more frustrating as he tries to land those long-range shots.
This is a really normal play here by Swift. You can see how they actually just triggered the cap to provoke reactions.
Crespix.
Ooh, Crespix got wrecked by Artie.
Oh, Crespix. Man alive, you just got roasted there. He was set on fire as well there, Mojo.
What a shot there. Was he spotted? I'm really not sure. But now Mikhailov will be in a problem if these butchers don't help him. Actually, Swift might lose the game from the brilliant start.
Mikhailov, look to your left, to your right, mate. They're right beside you. Oh, Mikhailov is going to get eliminated by this Wolfpack here of Batchats as they just absolutely pounce on him. Good night, Mikhailov. First down in the game.
Then, I really don't understand. Like, Swift had really good things going on. They did the right rotation down with those mediums. Why didn't they stay to control it? Because if these guys push the middle, they would just get behind them and shoot them in the back. Like this, they're just selling tank by tank. Swift. It's again that shaky Swift.
Swift trying to get counter shots back into out of range, but that Wolfpack did absolutely amazing. We see Crepix there just finishing off Deja, so it's kill for kill right now, but Swift, who had the advantage at the start, really got caught with their pants down there. Mikhailov, sitting in the middle in what was a decent position, got absolutely wrecked by those Batchats coming up the middle, completely uncontested.
They're doing smart now. They did a counter-attack on a position that out of range is not covering the best. So they will probably take out Senti. Ooh, he's even tracked now.
Brilliant shot. Brilliant tracking shot there as the rest of the Batchats come in and they need to unload all the shots into Senti and take him down before they can reposition. They cannot turn and leave Senti there. Senti needs to be dropped, but it looks like he's going to just creep away on a small amount of tail.
He missed the shot.
Senti, the longer he stays in, the more time it gives the rest of out of range to come in, but Vala is exposed in the middle there. He gets absolutely annihilated, down to 298 health.
I think Respix just managed to connect that one shot and he died, but it was more than enough. At the moment, out of range, he has more guns but less HP. Swift is still gathered up on one side and they just switched defensive and offensive side at the moment.
Call me Piotr there with 2 shots able to take out 2 tanks. That's great use of the Batchat there, able to use its quick firing gun and multiple shots, be able to take out, get fire across multiple targets as we see out of range just backing off now. And like you said, Mojo, out of range and Swift have now rotated positions completely on the map. And you think each other team is defending us. It looks like Swift are saying, hey guys, we can just go in for base 2. Nobody's watching it.
Well, Swift here actually does have an upper hand because they can pressure the cap if the only thing that will keep them up is because there is still an RT in a game. So that's the only thing that can keep out of range at the moment in the game. Because at the moment they will have to really send someone ultra offensive to spot the cap. Was this a blind shot by Artie?
It's a blind shot went outside of the circle, so I have no idea where he was aiming for. So down to 20 seconds. Mendic's going to do what he can to hold off Raging Potato. Swift might move out and take the bait if they can see any one tank come over and overexpose. Down to 12 seconds as the rest of out of range come in to try and get cap resets. Now Swift are rotating multiple tanks in and out of the cap. Looks like they're going to drive out of the cap. They actually did. They reset their own cap by driving out of it. Raging Potato almost dropped. Dialex goes out and gets himself shots. Mandex gets dropped as well. Swift are actually having to pull back, but they're on reloads. Rod is moving out in IS-7, but he's caught in a crossfire. This is going out of range's way, Mojo.
This is really weird game by every standard. Again, these guys are so undecisive when they want to do things. But at least at the moment, out of range is making the right choices and taking the lead finally for them. Road is the only guy left, but he's a single shooter and not the fastest one. I mean, I7 is a great tank, but not that good to deal with the Batchats on the open map.
So the Batchats can basically play peekaboo here with Road and just run away from him. Can Road get a shot in here?
Oh my.
That'll be a no.
No.
So the danger that Road has as well is that any time he dwindles in the safe... Oh, what a hit from the artillery! I was just going to say, if he lingers in an area for too long, that Lorraine is going to get a shot onto him. And there you go, 490. Road could have potentially tanked either one of these Batchats. I mean, Kerloff was going to struggle with. Piotr's on a one-shot, and then he could go hunting for Desic. But now it's just gone completely in out of range's favour. I'd say this is definitely 3-2, Mojo.
I don't see any way around it, but it was such a good start by Swift. Really logical, well played, everything. And then I don't understand what happened to them. They just let all the out of range go through the center, pick up atmospheric for free. They had the rotation going down, they had everything spotting down, and they now just flunked it again.
Yeah, when the tank in the middle, I believe it was Mihailov, got caught out by the 3 Batchats, that it looked like Swift were just like, oh God, guys, what do we do now? And had no plan whatsoever. Either that or they were panicked into bottom rotation coming. And another shot there from the artillery as Kerloff just pokes round and gets the final shot into Rhodes. Great play by the artillery there from Desic in the Lorraine. Strong play, actually, that time from out of range, and Swift are crumbling to pieces at the moment.
Man, I know what's wrong here. We mentioned Daki. Like, his name is the jinx.
If we see Daki, it's like if you see his name 3 times in the mirror, you get a tiebreaker.
Immediately, mate.
The Killzor, the Killzor, the Killzor. Tiebreaker. If you're wearing a tie, it just snaps in 2 and falls off.
Oh, wow. So here we have Swift again doing the blunder. This is another Swift that we've seen so many times in a season that just starts well and then does some weird, unnecessary stuff. I mean, honestly, tactically, the start of their game was really good.
They were in a strong position. They did the cap bait. Everything was going good. And then they ran out the cap when I guess they were scared of being spoiled at that point.
I understand.
There was the push.
Even that action I can understand. But giving up on the rotation in that moment and just not even trying to spot anything going on, it looked like someone just made a bad call because those butchers stopped in the middle of the action and just lingered there for no reason. And then Atmospheric got caught off and everything went down the drain immediately for them.
Okay, so let's have a look at the post-battle statistics and see the damage done there across the team. So Call Me Piotr there in the Batchat 25 for out of range, but then right behind him is a player from Swift, which is Mendax in the Batchat.
And then we have an artillery, Dezek, actually performing. We've seen several times he had really good games with
He's quite a good artillery player, yeah. Vala there, number 4 in the Batchat for out of range. Then it goes back to Swift for Crispex. Then it goes back to out of range for Raging Potato and Kerloff. So, like, trade for trade almost in a way. I mean, there's only 2 Swift players in the top 7 where 5 of them are all from out of range.
Remember the first tiebreaker that out of range played? They were 4-0 up, then they went to 4-4, and then they lost.
The reverse sweep, yes.
So, like, I don't know. Is Swift trying to do it?
Come on, like, Swift really need to start kind of getting their act together. They had a nice lead there at 3-0, and they're slowly letting it drop away from them. As we Deha and Senti there from out of range, like really poor damage from them at the bottom.
They were really wrecked by Arti and the positioning of these guys. I mean, Deha was practically sacrificed to reveal the cap, and that was a good action by Swift. That was really normal. After that, that rotation stopped. That was the cause of their loss. Senti also was pushed away, shot by Arti, and then caught off completely alone. So even he was not in position where he was supposed to be.
And you had Merzeki there, 9 shots fired, but only one of them was a damaging shot, which I think was the first one he fired out of the whole battle when he hit, I think it was somebody poking her head. Never mind, he got a shot straight away at the start, and then that was it, nothing else. It was 113 hit, and then he did no other damaging shots.
A lot of guys here that didn't really perform. And in these moments, we will just see how.
So there's the failed push, and then
managed to get up.
Then they redid that one again.
But it was better now.
Better that time round. Still kind of scrappy, but yep, okay.
Yeah, it's okay because he bumped him as much as he needed, and he went up. But this is the moment when the game was more or less lost, because they allowed them to do this rotation unspotted, and Atmospheric was still there, and the cap was not under pressure anymore. So they just gave up on a game for no need here.
This is the 2 shots coming in from Piotr as bam, he takes out Crispix, and then he takes out the artillery, one like that, double tap.
This is a big fight here now on the cap, but you really cannot play Huldan with Batchats like this. Like, they were peeking all over the place and getting shot by out of range, who had all the time in the world now to deal with them.
The shot coming in at the end as well from Desic. So pretty unfortunate from Swift. They were in the cap circle, but what I quite liked there is out of range. When out of range came up, obviously they weren't clumped together, but they were kind of spread out in a nice line, which allowed them to, like, the first one to come up, everyone's going to automatically turn their guns that way because they're worried about him. And then the other ones were able to come up, and it was a nice gun line. That's
actually a normal play when you want to play against people on your own cap in there, even from the old formats on tier 8 to now. You always have to spread out like that and make a crossfire, and it's about the guys on a cap, how will they react? Do they have enough HP to counter push you, or they will play the same game? And then the better one wins.
Okay, so let's have a look at the lineups for round 2 here on steps. Now Swift on the defense and out of range on the attack. And we see a different artillery being used here, Mojo.
We see M40 here, that's a bigger punch. So that means if you hit someone like that Lorraine did, it will not be 400, it will be probably more to 800 or more.
Okay.
So kind of heftier RT, a bit longer reload, but I would say if you don't want to move around the map, much better. On the other hand, Swift, really fast setup, object 140, all mediums and the root. They can do pretty much anything with this. They can do the boost, or they can even push these guys.
Okay, so we're likely to see that RU in a boost area, do you think?
If they play defensively, RU will probably be boosted, but it's up to them. They might even, because of RT, choose just to push them.
Okay, so we're about to get ready to jump into steps for round 2, ladies and gentlemen. Swift here on 3 points. Out of range on 2 points. Is it going to be 3-3 or is it going to be 4-2? Let's jump into the action and find out on steps.
And we are moving in now. We can see the RT moving actually toward the right side, so they want to pressure the 2 cap. We need to see, will there be any spotters going for preventing the Swift boost? But Swift, look at them, they're going as a unit. It looks like it's going to be a huge fight.
Swift going as a murder death ball down here as Road just peels away and says, hang on a minute, guys, what am I doing? I'm in the light, I'm not in a heavy autoloader. So these teams are going to collide down here in a smash. This is reminiscent of when Legend were playing Rusty Roster and came charging down here in one group. We're going to get a fight here. Merziki stops, he's the first one there. Spots out Vala and Call Me Pyot. Straight away we see the action fighting off here as Merziki is running around in circles as he's spotted. We see Vala getting absolutely wrecked. His Call Me Pyot also takes shots. Vala now with her dead, and Vala's eliminated. Vala's the first one down. Great focus fire there from Swift. No shots back in return against them. As out of range, have lost the player, and Call Me Pyot has also been taking one shot.
I mean, this is the right time now for Swift to just pull away and run away, because Road is already up and covering them, and they can just run away freely because the cap is pretty much safe and they already have a tank advantage. They even didn't receive a shell.
No shots in return, and as they drive away, they get a parting shot as well into Kerloff there. I think that was perhaps the object to come. Couldn't have been Road. It was only like 216 that hit to him, but
yeah, Road is spotted, so there is no way to spot him unless he actually fires.
So that was absolutely great play there by Swifters. They're able to come down, eliminate a tank from out of range, and then back off without any damage in return.
This is a really great play for them. Now, out of range is in a bit of a problem because that RU can buy them a lot of time, and I mean, when you put those 113s in a cap, RU can just reset them once or twice. Probably RT will kill him sooner or later, or those 113s, but Swift is not taking any chances. There is no sign of that slow play from the last game where they hesitated. There is rotations instantly now going on, and they are correct ones.
So Swift now rotating around west of the map with Atmospheric holding up in the middle. See a gunline here beside him is Mendex and Crispix as well, as we have Mihalov spotting out the top area at C5, while the rest of their opponents out of range are just kind of staggered down the east of the map as they slowly approach base 2. You can see Desik here trying to find himself a nice position to set that M40, M43 artillery and try and find some shots.
Oh, out of range tries to play so careful now, but they have no clue where Swift is at the moment. They can just hope for the best. We see the Mihalov is actually left on the top positions here, so he can approach the cap and decap if needed with some kind of the hold down, while all the Batchets are taking the positions to make a crossfire and a push.
Mersky is spotted there. Raging Potato misses his first shot, lands the next 2 shots. There's also his teammate behind him gets a shot in. Mersky now taking 3 shots there, and he's pinned in behind this area. The minute he tries to move, he's going to get shot. So, like Raging Potato, and also, I can't see behind him, it looks like somebody else was able to get shots onto Mersky. So he's going to have to just sit there, go unspotted, and then try and drive away once he thinks he's safe. Senti, I think, also getting shots in.
Well, I really hope that Swifty will just not go ahead of themselves here, because we've seen them suicide more than once in some of the games previously. Now, they have the control of the battlefield. They should just let out of range go on the cap, so they cannot really shoot them in the push, and then they can deal with these mediums. But decapping is not an issue for them. Impatience can be a problem. Oof, Artie missed, but they didn't.
That could have been a massive shot. So, the rest of the Swift coming down through the middle line here. Call Me Pyot was spotted in that area earlier on by Mersky, so Swift knows he's up there. Mersky again poking his head out. Raging Potato is just saying, thanks for the shots, mate.
What is the problem with that guy?
Mersky, come on, like, they knew you were there. Like, why would you do that, mate? I mean, think about it. Why would you do that? That's just crazy play. That's throwing away your HP for nothing in that situation.
Oh, man, I mean, his FC will have some things to tell him about this gameplay.
keep yourself unspotted. You know, get unspotted, move away from that position. Don't poke out, get yourself spotted, then just take 2 shots in return. You don't have the health to be able to play with that. So rotation back from Swift, going back north up through the middle road again, as we see Crispix, Atmospheric and Skylex going up through the middle here. Mihalov still holding his position here at C5, and Rhodes still sitting up at A9, spotting down into base 2, but it looks like Kerloff is wanting to poke his tank into the 2 and start the cap as he does.
Finally, we have pressure on the cap, but they also need to deal with that RU. And now is the moment when these Clippers actually can push and try to do some kind of pressure. But the road is getting wrecked because they were actually expecting him and he got spotting early. I wonder, does one of these 113s actually have binos on them?
So all of the guns aiming up towards where Road is. So Road has to be careful not to do a Mersky basically and poke his head out, letting everyone know where he is. The autoloaders here from Swift can't really decide whether they want to be up or down at the moment. We have 4 of them with Mendix, Crispix, Atmospheric and Skylex Pro all in batch at 25s. Mihalov still holding strong area at C5 in the Object 140. At some point, Swift are going to have to go in to do something here on base 2. It just really depends which area they're going to...
You know what's shocking here for me? I mean, why did Road even take the damage? Like, the moment when you pick out with it, RU is usually a moment when the cap gets seriously pressured. You do not want to throw away 800 HP so early. What will he do now? Now he will maybe decap once at best and he will just get wrecked.
This group of Batchats here from Swift are moving up and down the map through the middle like a tennis game, as if there's 2 giant bats at the north of the map and south of the map, hitting the tanks back and forward, as it looks like they're finally going to do something at the north of the map and come round and try and get shots onto Kerloff in the cap circle, as Road gets a very sneaky HE shot there. 58 into Kerloff, which does a cap reset. Road spotted but manages to get himself back safe, as Mihalov now is the one rushing in to try and get vision on Kerloff as well.
Out of range, knows that there is some game preparing now. The only hope Swift actually has at the moment is to catch them off with these Batchats without getting spotted. But that's the RT we've been talking about. This is the difference between M40 and Lorraine. Even the splash hurts.
Shot coming in there from Desik onto Mihalov, just basically saying, hello mate, don't forget I'm in this game. Mihalov was in a decent position there, but the shot from artillery has absolutely made his situation not really one he can hold. As we can see, Kerloff rolling over to start engaging with him. Skylex and Atmospheric want to come in and get shots here, but Desha is able to get shots one into Skylex, then one into Atmospheric. So great tracking shot actually in Atmospheric. He gets the second one as well for no shots back in return. Skylex is going to go in and probably overcommit here as he actually goes far too forward, desperate to get shots into Deja. Desik is able to kill off Mihalov in that artillery. Skylex and Atmospheric need to focus down Deja. Raging Potatoes backing off in the rear of the battle, as we see Senti backing off as well, while the rest of Swift's autoloaders coming round. But this is already going against Swift. They are completely losing health compared to out of range Mojo.
They can't really deal with this. They don't have tanks that can do the hold on, and sooner or later now the juice will run out. They will not have the shells to fight anymore, and then will still be Kerov and Senti to deal with, because they can shoot all the time and chase them around.
Atmospheric here in the reload. Senti with a massive miss there, shot into the ground just at the back of him, as Kerlov's able to pick up the kill. Now for Swift, they have 1,896 health on the board against out of range's 2,898, so almost a 1,000 difference there. On Swift, we have Crispix in the batch at 25 on 1,000 health roughly. Skylex Pro in the batch at on 400 roughly. Rhodes 400 in the RU251. Skylex just getting himself caught in a crossfire there, getting caught in shots from Raging Potato as he crosses across the map behind Crispix. Out of range has Senti on 484 health in a 113. Kerloff 713 health in a 113. Call Me Piotr 516 health in a batch chat. And Desik.
Crispix picks up Raging. That's an important one, because if Road resets, the Swift is still in a play then. But it's not going to happen.
They're going to have to rush in there. There's 10 seconds to go. There's 1 minute 22. A reset would swing it back in Swift's favour, but they've left it too late. They cannot get in. It'll be Call Me Piotr with the capture points. I think Swift are just giving this one up to them. They're way, way too late with the reset. And there we go. Out of range, cap the base. Mojo, what is going on with Swift right now?
They're just falling apart. I mean, how to throw a games in 2 lessons on steps. Like, what is the problem with these guys? They start so well. The games look so well in the start I mean, they even took out the tank for free here.
Yeah, it was like...
And they're defending.
You couldn't ask for a better start. Like, you go down, you go, oh, look, there's attackers. We'll take out one tank. We'll pull back. Hey, guys, like, everyone check. Hey, like, I'm fine. Are you fine? I'm fine. Like, nobody's taking any damage. We just destroyed another tank. We shot 2 more on the way out.
And then the throws.
The hesitation as well of that group of Batchats, that Wolfpack, they spent more than half the battle just driving up and down the middle road.
Driving up and down is okay. Suiciding one of them like that and then peeking out to get shot more. Like
Mersky dying on that bottom corner
was really playing bad. That was just a bad play you don't want for any player in the league to see. That was the main reason why they lost this. But it's not only that. Also, Road was not in good position. He should have been much higher up. Yeah. Because there is a position on the top of the hill where he can decap, he can peek over the little tree, he can break there, and there is a not so high chance to spot him then unless they really are prepared for that. Like this, just hard throws. Hard throws after such a convincing lead.
Yeah, unfortunate. They were doing so well there, Swift, but it's kind of let out of range come right back into it. And now we're almost heading to a tiebreakers. We're sitting here at 3-3. So let's have a look at the damage done in that battle and see who came out on top. So Crespix there in the Batchat 25 mojo, followed by out of range Raging Potato, but then Swift again in the Batchat with Skylex. I mean, they got their damage done, but it was kind of like too little too late, wasn't it?
Dezek also had really some important shots here in the moments of the fight on that Object 140. More or less, he took him out alone. Most of the guys that did damage here, we can see it's pretty unanimous. It's out of range. Couple of guys here, like Crespix, outstanding damage, almost 4K. It's just not enough to compensate for the blunders of others.
Yep, so the top 7 damage dealers there, only 2 on the front page were from Swift, the rest all from out of range.
Look at this. I can understand Vale, like, they fell in a trap as a team and he died. That's it.
It was good play for Swift to be able to do that, but to lose Mersky in exchange for that, for nothing?
That was really ridiculous what he did there. And also, I really am not happy about how Road played his position. I think it should have been much better. So between those two, I mean, those Batchats, when they have to charge into the tanks that are playing hold down, it's never going to end up well.
Let's have a quick look at the highlights then, actually see where things went wrong. So here we see Raging Potato just, I mean, this is just a free kill, isn't it?
It's just a freebie. Like, he took already 3 for no need, and then he just gave the rest after it.
And this is what I was saying.
Here was interesting. We could see Deha playing the cooldown with Object 140. He bought here good 30 seconds between himself and those 3 Batchats.
Yep.
So he kind of bought enough time for his team to do plenty of damage.
And this is what I was just saying with those 2 Batchats there. It was too little too late at that stage because they over-pushed, and the Object 140 did great in getting 3 shots in for taking nothing in return to already whittle the Batchats as they tried to come in that way.
Here in the end, they even had a good chance to actually win, even with such little HP, if just Road was positioned well. He could have reset it, and they run away with 1 Batchat, and that's GG.
So it's 3-3 right now. It's set up for any team to take it right now. We're going to go into our 4th map of the day, which is going to be Muravanka. Let's have a look at the vehicles used here. Now, either team here can take it 5-3.
Well, we've been expecting this and we've been holding it out. And there we go, a combo of a mouse and gun carriage.
This has been absolutely torture, not hinting at this at all, ladies and gentlemen. So, if out of range we're going to take the lead against Swift and do it by surprising them,
it's going to be epic.
It's going to be now. Mojo, how the heck is this going to be used?
Well, that GC can be used in 2 ways that I see them. First and most obvious one, you can just push mouse ahead covered with all these clippers and grille. And if someone is trying to play cooldown anywhere on a map, well, that GC will make him pay, even if he misses him. Other way you can play it is more painful way. Ducky actually suggested yesterday you can push the mouse through the forest.
Yes, very
and you can go to the lower cap. You can do shots with clippers and grille and GC on the bushes because that thing can probably even splash the 3090 to death. And then you can put the mouse in a cap and cap behind him.
Well, it's certainly going to be interesting. It's 3-3 as we go into Muravanka. Swift out of range. Who's going to win this one?
Muravanka, a map with a great number of buildings, bushes and trees, amongst which teams hide for most of the battle. The attacking team begins the battle from the top of the village, and the defenders start from the bottom of the map. Both bases are better controlled from the hill near the first base, and from the green in the lower left corner of the map. There are many attack directions. The attacking team often attempts to gain the attention of defenders by putting pressure on the first base, whilst manoeuvring several tanks behind the second base to deliver fire into the defending's flank. Team setups are very diverse, but the players often choose the fastest tanks, even for heavy setups. They could even bring SPGs.
Okay, so Mojo, we're not really expecting a cap rush here.
So we see almost immediately that Swift does not want to play normal. They are really pushing hard to try to intercept them. Now, what we suggested before, they can use a mouse, they can approach these areas here, he can play slowly, hold down here, covered by Grille, covered by a lot of butchers here, and they left one spotter here, and they can do some arty shots, place him in a cap. But Swift is responding really well in that fashion, because they're just going immediately, trying to get a counter rotation, and they're just sending one guy through the middle to fan out if they out of range is already up. This is a logical response by them, and much better. If they were just waiting for that, they would be victims, because that GC hurts. But if they manage to take out of range while they're not prepared, they can really do a lot of hurt to them, because Mouse will be then out of the game, probably GC, and they know Grilla will probably not be also together with other Butchats. So it's all about this. It looks like out of range was thinking about this, that's why they left a spotter back in the middle of the field. But if Swift is aggressive enough and they don't lose a tank while they're approaching, Kerov will die. They will be in a positions below them that they can then really pressure them left and right, and out of range will be in a deep problems.
Road is able to get himself really far across that map there, very almost spotting out Raging Potato and the Conqueror gun carriage. Could tell Road was wanting to carry on and go further over, but he backed off. Now Dizek here in the mouse, just rotating over that hill trying to play peekaboo, but he's not going to see anybody because no one from Swift is at the south side of the map. They have all rotated to the east side and they are hemming in out of range. They are saying, guys, we know what you're trying to do. We know how to counter this, or to play against it at least. Raging Potato's having to move back and forward here. He hasn't been able to get himself set in a specific position. He's having to put himself back over into A1 so he can then get set up for the shots. Road is spotted, but nobody else from his team has been spotted yet, Mojo.
Mouse is making a big comeback on Pro C in the last days. We would expect it to be used on some map like maybe Himmelsdorf or Ruinberg, but no, it's always on Murovanka.
From this situation, Mojo, could out of range potentially rush Cap 1 now?
Could out of range rush it? Yeah, they can definitely rush it, but the question is, can they deal with it? Because counter rotation can be rather swift, because they can get caught off then and it being a big problem. Honestly, it would be a gamble, because then you would completely give away anything you gain by having a gun carriage in your game.
Yep. I mean, the danger as well of taking the mouse here is you have something that's a big bullet sponge. I mean, they're lucky in the way that there was no artillery picked by Swift, but the danger as well of the mouse is if there is any kind of rotation or relocation needed from your team, that thing is not going to support you.
Well, Mouse can really do a good thing here. I really suggested a couple of times. You can just put him on this middle road between the little hills, so the guys where Mursky and the rest are, they cannot really shoot you. He just needs two angles there. And then you put Butchats toward the upper side, they know there are no people. And so this is the action that they could take. Now the risk is if there is a ultra aggressive push by Swift, that's what I said. That's where you give up the advantage you have with gun carriage, because that RT is pretty much alone and he will maybe fire one shot, or he will maybe even die without doing it.
Okay, so Dezek just playing rocket. I mean, this is what you'd normally see a medium tank do with like strong turret armor or something like that.
There is a lot of fear in both teams here.
Playing peekaboo and hell. I mean, both teams, as we talked about at the start of the match, desperate for these points on the board. It could make Swift safe. It could bring out of range out of a dangerous situation. And out of range, they're the ones, Mojo, that have the harder matches, don't they?
Both of them have pretty similar matches after this. Out of range has just one more with Utopia. Other than that, both are playing Go Hard and Oops. Much harder opponents than either of them are.
Not very nice two teams to face, but two teams sitting in third and fourth at the moment and been very strong recently, as both of these teams have been scrappy. And Mojo, there it is. It's the cap rush coming in from out of range.
All or nothing here. All or nothing here.
Swift are going to have to rush in. Looks like they're going to try and rotate through the top and come in through the middle, but they're leaving it a bit late here, Mojo, as we're down to almost 15 seconds before any action's been done from them.
It's interesting that we have these three guys here. As you see, Butchats are already left there, so they can run away on any moment needed. Dezek in that position, no, that's not really easy to reset.
Mendix getting the reset there on 7 seconds as he's bouncing the rest of his shots off Dezek. Dezek does take damage, but it's the other Batchats round the corner in his team that are actually the ones on the cap points as the focus is coming into Dezek, but Deja and Senti behind him are the ones still in the cap points as they're sitting on 6 seconds to go. Swift, you need to start focusing your targets. The Batchats pull out and they're going to start looking for targets. We see Raging Potato nearly getting dropped, Vala nearly getting dropped. Raging Potato's getting focused on the Conqueror gun carriage. He's going to be completely out of the battle. He's on a reload anyway. Now we see Road getting dropped, we see Mendix getting dropped on Swift. Out of range, have the guns right now in the battlefield. Atmospheric's about to drop now for Swift.
He survived this shot, oh my god.
He survived on 81 health, but Deja gets the kill. So, Swift down to 3 tanks, out of range down to 5 tanks still left with that Conqueror gun carriage still in it. We see Dezek still here in the mouse and the cap circle, just an absolute punching bag right now from the rest of Swift as Merzeki's able to get the kill off him. Raging Potato here now in the Conqueror gun carriage. Can he get a shot, Mojo? Well, not quite the damage you want to see there from the Conqueror gun carriage.
And he's completely left out alone here, but of course Swift does not know it. We've seen what is the problem when you have artillery. If you don't have a stationary team, if you have a team that plays fast against you, once they get in a battle, like that RT is more useful as a, let's say, tank destroyer than artillery itself, because if he doesn't connect that one shell, then it's always one player less. Also, you have a mouse, so you can even count 2 guys less. I think, in all honesty, I really think that Swift kind of gave too much attention to that mouse and wasted too many shells on him. Like, after the first reset, all the shells Mendix had should have gone to some other Batchats and anything else. He should have just shot him once, he tracked him, reset it, fine, immediately leave, because it's not like on a mouse gonna chase you.
Yeah.
You just leave and you go and fight other people. Once you kill the Batchats, you can take care of the mouse with whatever you want.
So out of range, being rather sneaky here, trying to start a cap onto base 2 and try and draw out any of Swift to get shot by that Conqueror gun carriage, who's still safe up there, Raging Potato. Now, Mersky has to be careful he doesn't get shot by that. They're going to maybe try and go for a tracking shot, just do anything to try and hold him still for long enough, because getting rid of his health pool, that was the hit from artillery. A swing and a miss. It does a little bit of damage, but not enough as the counter shots come in. Deja able to get shots at, but he's unspotted as he gets the shots in. Kerlov's going to be caught by Krepix. Can he actually get the shots off? No, Krepix is another one. Kerlov should get a kill here.
Oh,
no, actually, Krepix is getting all the shots into Kerlov. Kerlov, what are you doing, mate? Like, you should have finished him off ages ago.
I really don't understand what's going on here at the moment. Kerlov is just throwing the game.
Kerlov, laddie, you were just outshot at by an STB-1 when you had a full clip. What the?
It's not only that, like, he allowed to get in crossfire between Mikhailov and him and got shot off, like, I really don't get it. I mean, even these RT shots, I really don't know, will they just be enough time for them to deal with it. Deja is trying to get an angles to, like, crossfire Mikhailov together with Senti, but Krespix and Mirsky, they're already there trying to help him out. And you look at this.
A crossfire there coming into Senti was absolutely beautiful as both shots look like they connected there at the same time. Deja doing what he can there in the backchat from the forest, but Mercy's able to get a shot into him, and Crespix is able to get a shot there from the STB-1. All we have left now for out of range is Raging Potato and his Conqueror gun carriage on 46 health. Swift have 3 tanks still in the battlefield. We have Mersky in the E5 on 783. We have Crespix in the STB-1 on 140 health. And we have Mihailov in the Batcha on 950 health. This is Swift's battle, Mojo.
It looks like Raging is really raging. He's just going at him like, kill me, kill me, kill me.
He's like, I'll shotgun one. Oh, no, he doesn't. So, there we have it. Out of range, trying to, I wouldn't say cheese, but trying to do something unusual there for Muravanka, and it doesn't work for them.
Several attempts so far by teams playing with mouse, and I kind of like idea. In some of them, I can't say I like this one because having Mouse and GC in the same team is not very productive. If you want this, they could have done it with a bunch of 57s and Bachats.
Yeah,
much easier than having Grille and Mouse and RT. So you can have like tier 9 Bachats, you can have 57s, and you can have huge rotation force and some clipping pressure, because that is what they actually were lacking here. Not HP of Mouse and armor of Mouse.
Definitely. Let's have a look at the post-battle statistics and actually have a look at the damage done there. So, Mersky there in E5 coming in with 3,200 damage. That's really nice. Crespix doing 3,000 damage in STB, and then Mihailov doing 2,500. So, top 3 players all coming in from Swift, Mojo.
Even Dezek did enough damage. Oh my god, look at this, like 1,800. I really didn't expect that. That means he did like 4 shells at least. Yeah, 4 shells. 4
shells landed every one of them, and got a kill as well. But I mean, he had always had somebody to shoot at because everyone was shooting at him and they were within his gun sights.
I mean, Swift could have won this much easier if they just didn't waste time on the Mouse. Why would you shoot a Mouse of all the tanks here?
I mean, they got the shot into the Mouse and they cap resetted, but then at least 3 other shots came in after that on the Mouse.
I think actually they wasted 7 or 8 shots on him in that moment, and then they were shooting him after. Whenever they didn't have a target, they were shooting a Mouse. So that's fine, like your damage looks better, but efficiency, I mean team efficiency really doesn't work like that, because you need to focus on important target. Important targets, what are they? That's like Bachat mediums always first.
Let's have a look at the highlights, Mojo, and actually see some of the plays here. I mean, there's Vala getting dropped in the middle here.
This is the first normal kill they did when they pushed Vala instead of Mouse.
Atmospheric just survived there, but then he gets taken out by Deha. Obviously, we were talking about Mersky finishing off Dezek in the Mouse.
That's okay. I mean, at this moment, it's fine. Yeah. But before that, it was a waste.
Karlov just... I don't know what he's doing there. He took at least 2 or 3 shots from the STB and didn't get shots back in return. Perhaps there was communication issues. Perhaps somebody was saying, hey, don't look that way, don't shoot at him, watch out behind you or something, and he was getting, you know...
Communication between him and the rest of his team was not really the best, and he got in absolute crossfire between 3 guys, there, all alone, without any possibility for anyone to help him.
So yeah, not a great play as well. I mean, the STB did great against them. So now we're going to go into round 2 here on Muravanka. Let's have a look at the lineups for each team. We see they've switched around now, obviously. Swift on the attack, out of range on the defense. Mojo, anything that stands out here to you?
It's a really standard defense setup by out of range, nothing specific there. E5 for anchor, STB to cover the red line, 3090 for the field. From the Swift side, they have an RT and the grill and object 140. Okay. Again, a bit of overdoing, but with this, they can play whatever they want. They can go down and just clear the field if they want, keep the object 140 on the red line for some cooldown and clip the bushes with Bachats, or they can go upper cap and play it, like whatever they please.
Okay, so it can go any way here right now. Lorraine being used a bit different from the Conqueror gun carriage.
To put it mildly. Well, with Lorraine you barely have any splash, so it's about relocation of RT, direct hits more or less, and the speed of those shots, because you can do 2 shots for one of the gun carriage, but the difference in a punch is quite hefty.
Okay, so it's 4-3 Swift. Can they make it 5-3, or will out of range take it to tiebreaker? Let's find out as we go into round 2 on Muravanka. Mojo, what do you think? Cap rush or cautious? Well, it looks like cautious
Cap rush
play.
with RT is really not an option, and I honestly like their approach going down even with that RT, because they will have a lot of time to clear the bushes. Now also, you can see the response here from out of range. They're sending some people down in a trap. Now the question is, will Dezek actually be in a good position, and will the out of range Bachat do damage to the first spotter? We've seen this used already.
This is steps all over again. Swift are going to run down a flank. Are they going to get a kill and then run back up? This is exactly what they did on steps on round 2. They came rushing down a flank, stayed in a group, but out of range are not playing into it. Out of range are taking a kind of standard defensive setup here, Mojo.
This is what Kazna was facing when they played their match, I think, against Gohard. The spotter was exactly where Desert is, and Isner went to spot where Mandax is going, but Mandax, it looks like he is actually, Mandax will actually probably guess it.
He's aiming
there
for
we
it.
go.
Nope.
No, he knows he's spotted, so he knows there is someone there. Dezek is actually in a deep problem here because they're not falling for a trap.
He's cycling through the bushes, but is he going to put 2 into the same bush? Mandix, mate, come on, are you going to put 3 into the same bush?
It doesn't really matter, they have a lot of time because now they know there can be no other tank anywhere there except 1390. No one will put a budget in some position. So if they take out 1390 now for free, why not? As soon as the 13 falls, all the budgets from out of range will have to run away.
So Mandix is starting to shoot at the different bushes there. He's zoning in on the one where Dezek is.
Man, even if they spend 3 minutes killing him, it's all fine. It doesn't really matter.
So they know exactly where that 1390 is. Dezek.
If they watch the replay from that Kazna game, they would actually know where Dezek is. Okay. And that they're aiming on the wrong spot. Maybe they were lazy and sloppy.
Mercy's aiming that way, Mojo. He's aiming that way. Is the shell going to come in?
Oh, we're closing in. We are closing in.
The artillery was aiming towards that direction. He could just get one-shotted in the second tier from the artillery shell if he picks the right bush.
Dude, I remember when we were playing that old format, 742, so you had to clear out tier 1s and you were like shooting bushes trying to find it. There we go.
He gets a shot
First
in.
connection.
He gets a shot in. He's gone!
There we go.
Oh, outstanding play. That would have been like, dude, I connected. Shoot that area. So, great shot there from Mersky and the artillery there. Dezek's days were numbered down there in that bush as we see Kerloff and we see Raging Potato backing off from that corner now. They've lost their vision with the loss of the AMX 1390, and how are they going to recover from this, Mojo?
They're leaving Vale now there in the bushes, but that's another point here. 7 minutes. Swift actually has enough time to check it again out and try to fan him out also. If you divide the entire area by sectors, we've been talking about that, you can approximately know in which area the spotter is. So even if they start running out of the time, they can always send a budget in the buildings and he will proxy Vale.
Okay, so the rest...
It's just a gamble, then who will survive?
So the rest of Swift are starting to rotate round. Swift are starting to smell blood. They know they have the advantage here. Even though it's a slight... Actually, I was going to say the slight health advantage. They don't have a slight health advantage, even though they've taken out a tank in the battle, but they have...
It's a big advantage for them now.
A big advantage, yeah?
Yes. Biggest.
Okay, so Vala has got himself in a position here to try and do spots.
Ooh,
oh, Mispheric! What was that? Oh! Good night, mate! What happened there, Mojo? What was that?
Dude, like, crossfire from these guys was outstanding for the first time in this game. Like, he just got deleted from the map.
That was like, the guys from out of range just went, okay, guys, 1, 2,
Did
3,
they?
shoot!
Seriously, are they so careless? They really didn't pay attention at the school that once you kill one spotter, it doesn't mean that the team cannot have another one? Like, that approach by Atmospheric, like he's owning the field and he's a king of the hill and he's the lord of them or whatever, was so careless and he paid it dearly, instantly.
It's just like, hey guys, I'm just going to go out to the middle here. I'm just going to see if, oh my God! And then he's gone.
It was really ridiculous. What a mistake after such a good start for them. What a mistake to make. I mean, Mendex here probably, he was not spotted by Vale because he's too far on the left, but they didn't even bother with a drive-by to check is there any spotter on the other side. That's what I was talking about the sectors. Because Mendex, when he peeked there, he was not spotted. It's not Vale's part of the spotting if you're not really too aggressive, but he can see the lower side of the cap from there. Exactly there where Atmospheric entered it.
So Raging Potato is now holding out on the bottom of the map, looking to get crossfire shots as we see Rod getting spotted in his back chat. So be careful that there's no counter shots coming back into him. Vala still holding this fantastic position, acting as now forward scout for his team with the loss of Dizek in the AMX 1390.
He doesn't have to do anything. This is so standard bush. I mean, most of these bushes here in this line you can use for that kind of spotting. He cannot spot everything perfect because there is some bushes in front of him, but he can see where they are. Also, there are some bushes in the middle of the field, but this one, if you use this one, you have the highest chances maybe to even run away in the buildings. Because if you're someone in the middle of the field, if they really find you, you're just dead.
Yeah. So see, whenever Skylex Pro and Road pop their head out here,
Road is spotted and he doesn't know it.
And they're both getting spotted straight away as artillery's desperately trying to fire shots off to try and get a connection. Skylex able to move out and keep himself unspotted, but the minute he moves back round again, he will be spotted by Vala, who is just keeping Rhodes completely lit up this entire match.
Well, time is ticking slowly but surely. Those little sand grains are falling, falling, and falling, and I think Swift will have to decide finally to get a push on.
And it's playing into out of range's favour as well, because they've lost their scout, but they haven't lost any HP on the rest of their tanks, and all of their tanks are all guns in the game effectively. Now, Swift still have 6 tanks themselves, but one of them is an artillery, and when the fighting starts, how that artillery is used and how effective it is with its shot could be the swinging, deciding factor in this battle mojo, couldn't it?
Okay, out of range is preparing for all-out fight here. You can see their budgets are reloading. Vale even abandoned his spotting position because he's expecting they will fan him out sooner or later. So they're now, if the cap starts, they will play a different kind of game. They will just push together and go for a fight and reset. And if Swift themselves runs away as they must from the cap to fight, they'll just stop and try to do a good crossfire.
And this is it for out of range at the moment. It's a bit like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid when they're doing the last rush at the end mojo. They need to win this battle and take it into a tiebreaker because they cannot afford to drop points against Swift because the rest of the matches they have are going to be honest, pretty hellish, aren't they?
For them, even losing this 1 point, even if they win a tiebreaker and get into it, is a problem because they're on 8 points and then they would need a victory against Utopia, Gohard, or Oops.
Yep.
So really hard games for them, but still, it's a fighting chance and you must fight till the end.
3 of the top 4 teams in the game right now. So Deha moving up here, he's getting himself caught across. Oh, good night, Deha! Oh, Rhodes is the one who gets the killing blow on him as he gets absolutely eliminated there in a crossfire from Swift. And we see Skylex backing off from the cap circle. Out of range are taking shots sporadically, bringing the battle back into their favour as we see Rhodes getting taken down in the batch at 25. He's down to 718 health. Mojo, this is a bit like punch for punch right now.
Yes, it looks like that, but the key thing is there is 1 minute and 20 seconds till the end. So they have to boost the cap with several guys now. And yes, they lost Deha, but if they even just in last moments push with 4 people there, some of them will survive, they will reset. Someone will die from Swift and it will still be a draw. And by the default, if it's a draw, defender wins.
Mendex getting a shot there into Common Piotr. So Atmospheric and Deha, they're both dying in the middle of the town.
Mursky is going into the cap now to serve them as a body shield because he has no purpose in this game whatsoever anymore.
So down to 23 seconds as we're going to see out of range come rushing in there to try and get some resets. Down to 30 seconds. There is the reset coming down. 59 seconds. They're not going to do this on cap circles. They cannot outrun the clock. Swift need to go for kills. They need to try and eliminate out of range quickly, but out of range can effectively just run away from right now. This is going to go out of range's favour. It's going to go 4-4. Mojo, they nearly had this, didn't they?
They nearly had it, but then that one careless move by Atmospheric, not checking out that part of the playground. They were so happy when they pinpointed out at 1390. They didn't fall in a trap, and then they just did a beginner's mistake and didn't check everything to the end. Like the logical response from any team, when you lose one spotter, you will not hide in one corner. You will use another. Murovanka is that kind of map. After so much games played, they should have known it. And they might pay it with falling out from the league because of that.
So, out of range, able to finish there with 5 tanks still on the board. The only tanks that they lost was the
1390.
Desert getting eliminated by artillery, and Deha getting absolutely pummeled when he drove out in the middle. But the rest of the team were there, still with the guns, and they could just run. I mean, we've said it lots of times before, the clock at the start's no big things. 10 minutes, okay, plenty of time, but once it gets like past that 5-minute stage, teams really need to be certain of doing something.
Well, big mistakes here by Swift again. So some games here, they seem so sure of themselves. Some games, they just start really well. And then again, that ending, it's not only them, it's out of range also. This is a battle between them who will do less amount of mistakes because both of them are doing like this many.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, we've messed up. That's okay, they've messed up. It's like, oh no, we've messed up again. Oh, it's okay, they've made it. You're just like, guys, like, get it together here. Like really, Swift, you were 3-0 up at the start of this, guys.
That's really one step away almost from the victory.
Yeah,
it's really such a abundant advantage, and now they're in a brink where they can actually lose a match.
And in fairness, out of range, if they manage to take this, I mean, the problem is
it will be a first tiebreaker they will take. They lost already too.
But tiebreaker's still effectively useless for both of them. There's 2 points and 1 point. Someone's getting 2 points, someone's getting 1 point.
It's not useless. They will just have to deal with the go harder ropes.
Yeah. Okay, so let's have a look at the damage statistics there for that battle and see who came out on top with the damage. Raging Potato doing what he can. Senti, Call Me Piotr, all there from out of range on top. Merzeki there in the artillery for Swift.
Well,
fourth place.
did pretty decent, I would say. 2k damage almost with RT 1900 is really good, especially on this map. It's just not enough. Atmospheric, dying there. Yeah, it was a GG at that moment.
Yeah, it was almost like Atmospheric and Deha were dared by their teams. It's like, no, dude, there's nobody there, trust me. It's like, okay, I'll go.
Yeah,
Bam!
But Deha dying was not really important moment, but Atmospheric was really ultra important when you lose a fast tank like that and you know you're really cut out from the position.
It's very rare as well on Muravanka that the E5 is effective. They always seem to be punished. They always seem to be the tanks that get smacked for basically doing little in return.
They're the tanks that are used as an anchor, as a bouncer, as a sacrificial lamb whenever you need it, and that's about it. Same as IS-4. So last game when we seen E5 as a damage dealer, it was really a rare occasion. He did like 3-point-something K damage.
Yeah. I mean,
it was really good.
It's a bit like it's a bait in a way. It's like there's a tasty E5 for you to shoot at, and then once you guys shoot at him, we're going to know where you are, and we're going to counter shoot.
That's why more and more people now even use 57 because that bait can actually bite back hard when he's pressed.
So our tiebreaker map this evening, I believe, is Cliff.
Happy Ducky.
Happy Ducky. That's what happens. We said it, guys. It's Ducky as the
I'm
common...
not going to even mention his name anymore.
The common catalyst. Let's actually have a look at the highlights, Mojo. Talk us through what happened here.
Well, here we see finally a moment when that position of a light was pinpointed and he was annihilated. Atmospheric here making the major mistake of a match here and dying. Like, it looks like always one of the budgets just dies like that from the Swift. And there we go here, Deha trying to push here for a cap to spot it like, oh god, got enough armor, but the crossfire that came was painful. We've seen several teams try to cap here behind Lorraine Arti, but it's simply impossible. It's just not big enough. There is always some part of the budget peaking and they always get resetted.
Would you say that the Lorraine blocker might work if you were having something like a 3090 behind it?
Yeah, probably behind that, yeah, because that is a really small thing, but they had nothing in the pit because tier 8 is a Lorraine.
I mean, it's not like... It's something you can do as a desperation move, but it's not something that a team would go, actually, guys, we're bringing Lorraine just to park it on the base and
I mean, he can help
shots.
in some desperation moments if team is badly positioned, but here already, out of range was already positioned for this. So they had no issue.
Okay, so we're going to have Swift as the defending team here on Cliff. Now, there's a little bit of a delay whenever we get a tiebreaker because the teams, before matches start, the teams have to submit their team lineups and we know beforehand what the teams are going to play, so it's kind of exciting for us, but we can't obviously drop any hints to the viewers or give hints to teams for later on and stuff. So, Mojo, obviously Cliff, we're going to see bat chats everywhere.
I was checking out a bit now, quick and dirty. Interesting thing is Swift didn't play a single game on Cliff so far in the season. Do they even have a tactic for this? Like a match that their life is going to be depending on they're down to the map they never played.
If in doubt, just take 2 tier 9 bat chats, the rest tier 10 bat chats, and just go in all guns blazing.
So if in doubt, whip it out. I'll go like that.
Well, that's one way to put it, I guess. So I think we're going to obviously, it's not I think, we're guaranteed to see lots of bat chats and used. It's just basically, are we going to see artillery Are we going to see like an RU? Are we going to see perhaps
I really don't think
Scorpion?
any of these teams should play artillery on Cliff. It kind of really requires hardcore coordinations and a diplomat on it to work. I've never seen other team except GoHard actually win with RT on Cliff in defense or offense.
It's like GoHard, like doing the team lineups. What we're going to choose? What's GoHard playing? GoHard plays whatever GoHard. Diplomat plays whatever Diplomat wants to play.
It's one thing when you have an RT in your team, and the other thing when a match starts and you look on one side of the map and then you just, where is this budget? Oh, he's dead already.
But the other thing as well with GoHard, and this is the thing that makes GoHard such a threat, if you don't have Diplomat on the RT, you have Annihilator on the RT, who's just as equally strong. They just have different preferences for the ones that they play.
Here we have on out of range side, we have Dezek who plays decent RT. I don't just think on that level, and also coordination of the team is not on the GoHard level, so I really think they should just all focus on tanks and on their positioning. Now we will see, did they practice Cliff enough, because there is a lot of boost you need to know there.
Yeah.
It's really hard now, like in older times there was a big chance that you will just push through and just punch through the enemy if you have good enough focused fire, cover behind the rocks. Now it's a different story because there is so much versions you can do to approach. How will you just pinpoint where is the enemy, what kind of rotation will you do, how will you try to overmatch the number of the enemy in specific position and get another angles to shoot at him for free. So it's all about that.
Okay, so earlier on we showed you guys the European top 5 highlights of last week. Let's actually have a look at the global highlights of last week where we can see some amazing action from the other regions as well.
If they're predicting that a team is running the exact same strat against them, they could figure out that there are less tanks here. Now, obviously, Rival weren't running the same strat.
Oh, this is very bad.
They've taken this moment to rotate the tanks out back into the south, and they could be caught with their hands down.
This is going to be gross. Tiger's now taking shots on the E63 as well as Coffee Thief. And here comes Vetro as well as Brett in the 2-140s. A lot of damage coming on the Coffee Thief. They're going to find E63 again on that little ridge, or excuse me, that little shoreline, and he is going to go down just like that.
Смотри, уже врывается Yellow Warrior.
Выживет ли Макс Бет? Макс Бет, стань мордочкой.
Нет, бачат его просто закрутят.
Крутит Yellow Warrior.
И добивает Шутерса, только для чего? Шутер все равно не успевал зарядиться. Закрывается за Yellow Warrior.
Не успеют они забрать уже, ну никак.
Успевают забрать. Минус на последней секунде.
На последней секунде.
Боже, как они вытащили прям на последней секунде. Ой, тут 50Бшки залетают вперед. Ты посмотри, только что подсветились и сейчас будут забирать Беовульфа или Кока-Колу. Одного из них.
Они все у нас цикличные, здесь барабаны. Вот мы видим,
как без информации они их пропустили. Боже, как вы их пропустили. НСС, 3 50Бшки пролетели, Хэвики, 2 50Б пролетели вообще без какой-либо инфы.
Боеукладку Беовульфу. Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой.
Oh, Brosto!
54 seconds.
Brosto needs to stick the shell here for Pashka, because Pashka needs 3 shells. Akorni could reload in that time. Great play from Akorni here, repositioning behind the wreck. He needs to pick up Pashka. Akorni needs to pick up Pashka here. As he does, he picks up Pashka. Can he pick up Brosto as well? Akorni in the MP215B needs 1 more shell. Brosto gets around the corner.
Heartbreaking moments here.
Close stop here now. Both of these tanks on a one-shot. Akorni, he can do it.
Now we were talking about the boy. It's time to shine. Come on.
Oh my god, this is cheeky. Akorni, he thinks Brosto will just come full speed around the corner. They spot each other out. Akorni misses! Brosto picks it up!
Gonna try and block off Lehoi.
He's behind him.
No, he's blocking off Lehoi Wei. Even if he goes down here, it doesn't matter. He's not going to be able to kill Lehoi Wei, I don't think. Oh, Shinozaki, he should get the kill here. But how can he kill? He can't kill Lehoi Wei. There's no way. There's no entry.
He can push it, can't he?
No way. There's no way a Batchat can push an E100. No way. And there's no window he can shoot.
Yeah, no, exactly. So Shinozaki, he's literally just going to sit there while the timer runs out.
So that last highlight, for perhaps anyone who doesn't quite understand what was happening there, the team that had 2 tanks left, they were the defending team. Now, they could run the clock down. The one guy that was left took the bait into shooting the E100. Now, the E100 was blocking in the entrance to where his teammate was. So once he destroyed the E100, that was a stuck wreckage. There's no way that the Batchat could move the E100. And the guy that was left, even though the defending guy was stuck in the middle, there
was not enough time to cap, and he cannot enter to kill him, so it's already GG. There
wasn't enough time, so it was like 1 minute 30 seconds, and he had to just sit there and watch the clock run down, and they lost that match. So it was an amazing match to watch at the time. It was absolutely hilarious to see because there was missed shots and everything there. The E100 should have taken out that Batchat at least twice. So it was a really interesting match. But let's get into this one. It's Swift out of range. We can actually bring you guys the lineup here that we're going to see on Cliff. Mojo, what do we see here?
Swift chose a defense. There is no RT as we see. In offense, out of range, full French setup, all clippers, all damage, no lights. On the Swift defensive side, same thing, only 2 TVPs.
2 TVPs, so the lineup from out of range is one of Daki's favourites to see on something like Cliff. Daki loves teams using the 2 Batchat 25. Sometimes a team might take an AMX or something like that instead of the 2 tier 9s, and Daki doesn't like that, basically. He feels that whatever you can do with the AMX, you can just as well do with the tier 9 Batchat, and it gives you more damage, more flexibility. So we can actually jump straight into action, ladies and gentlemen. It's Swift out of range, 4-4. Who's going to win here on Cliff? Let's find out.
Cliff, the most dynamic map in the league. Battles on Cliff always turn into desperate double-edged fights. Teams start from the same spots as they do in standard battles. The first base is located near the defender's spawn point, and the second is at the bottom of the hill. Sometimes teams split their forces and send several tanks through the 1-2 line to the left of the small hill, but usually both teams play at the center. The attacking team can send one of the tanks up to the lighthouse or behind it. Fast and quick-firing vehicles are better suited for this map, mainly medium tanks, including tanks equipped with autoloaders.
So, including tanks equipped with autoloaders, well, there's 10 of them. How's this one going to go, Mojo? Oh, not 10 of them, sorry, there's 14 of them.
14 of them would be the closer number here. Road and Skylex going down to control the 1-2 line and possibly do some shots on the enemy. Now, I really don't understand why did they team up a Batchat and a TVP? But I guess they just wanted to cover from crest picks for the guys in the middle immediately they're pushed.
So it looks like Formula Adin had loaded up there and then immediately started reloading again, so perhaps changing shells there as he's in that position down at G1. We see Kerloff trying to slowly go up the hill here for out of range on the south side.
Yeah, he's just proxying these guys and giving some initial info, where are they. Other guys should come in play now and start climbing already. Mountaineering is a popular sport lately here on Cliff.
The thing is out of both of these teams, which one of them actually knows Cliff better than the other? You were saying that, I believe, out of range, or was it Swift? I've never played it at all this season.
Swift never played it, not a single game yet. Out of range played 9 in total, and they have 60% win in attack, not so much in defense though. So, but they're attacking now, so why not?
Raging Potato trying to... Oh, Raging Potato, no.
Not Raging, the red potato.
The inexperience showing there from out of range is Raging Potato is not able to get that boost up on the hill, as we see Atmospheric just getting himself spotted out on his side and taking a shot in return for that 403 right to the face as he played a little peekaboo over the hill. So
every shot of damage now will matter when the final conflict starts.
Mendax takes a hit there as well, so he gets one back in Vala, and he's trading shots of Vala, but this is not a good situation to be in. Mendax, you were getting yourself caught. He's a good shot back from it. Mendax takes another one.
Taking a lot of damage there, and the dead gunner. That's kind of a big issue now at the moment for him.
Swift have to be careful. They have a bit of a habit of throwing away tanks needlessly when they're in a position where they don't need to. As we see, Deha's able to...
they have a habit of Mendax throwing himself needlessly.
So Deha's able to get up in the hill here as Raging Potato is trying to get the line to come round behind him after sliding down the first time already. Kerloff just holding position where he is, just slightly down at F7 area. As we see Atmospheric and Mendax going around, which should normally be an area where you get shot at, but going up safely. Decha getting a caught in a crossfire from way up back. So that was Crespix away back, or Mihailov down below him. Do believe the shot was actually coming in from Crespix, who's just dropping down now, as Mihailov's coming over to give covering fire. So not great there for Decha. He had the advantage there to perhaps drop down onto Atmospheric and Mendex, but now he's just going to play cautious, Mojo.
It was a bit careless by him because we saw the moment when he got lit up. He actually knew he was spotted. He still stayed to do one shot and took two while he was trying to go back. So really, from time to time, all of these guys are showing that carelessness that costs them here and there a couple of hundred health. It doesn't look much, but when you add it up toward the end of the game, it's usually a reason for their defeat.
Yep, a dangerous situation here is that Mendax is one of the tanks that's up on the hill, so he's going to be expected if stuff happens later on to give his team covering fire, but he has a dead gunner, and he's on 571 health. So if anyone wants to counter shoot him, so Senti trying to get a shot on Atmospheric here. Does he have the line? Atmospheric just might peek a little bit and just give Senti a shot here. Just be very careful, but Mendax is not going to be able to... He can't trade, he can't risk getting shot at himself. He's only been 2 shots and he'll be dead.
Now we need to know, does Kerov knows how to go from that side, because he can actually pressure on Atmospheric. And this is the situation we've seen several teams in, because then no one can help him. It will be one-on-one fight, and then Raging and Decha will just push through on that hold there and kill him. But there we go. That's why Mikhailov is actually coming there. That's kind of a little ball that everyone wants to control there on Cliff.
I was just wondering if he's going to bait him round so he can get caught in a crossfire from Senti down below him as well. And Senti gets a shot into Atmospheric, so the advantage now with Kerlif. I was just thinking, as another shot comes in from Decha, that's a great shot on the top of Atmospheric. Counter shot coming back and trying to get Raging Patil, but Atmospheric is not in a good situation. He could have been poked at by Kerlov. Senti could have got a crossfire in, and you saw the shot coming in from Decha as well. So Atmospheric having to swap places with Mihailov and say, dude, like, cover me, I'm getting hit here.
If you're asking yourselves, why are they playing so kind of all driving up and down, left and right, shooting while they're driving? Well, because all they see in these positions are little fractions of the top of the turret, and occasionally when you peek through a certain hole that appears in the ground. So it's really hard. It's really hard.
Great use of the zoom there, scrolling in there to see the tanks on the top of the hill from the viewpoint of Skylex Pro, and just showing you just how little of the tanks you actually see when aiming up that area. Skylex is in a good position to give crossfire, but he's only going to happen if out of range decide to push over. At some point, out of range are going to have to do that. We're less than 5 minutes on the map. Out of range need to get the kill, or they need to cap one of these bases, Mojo.
Well, we have 4.5 minutes. Sooner or later, we are going to see a rotation right there where Senti is. He's going to try to make a crossfire, and the rest of his team should cover. And Formula Zin is trying to go from the other side and fan off a bit more of them to get cross shots on Atmospheric and Mikhailov. And there we go, some damage is coming in.
So Mikhailov there taking another shot right on the top of his turret as we were just peeking over from the top of the lighthouse. Mihailov's actually going to try and rotate around looking for Kerlov, but Kerlov's on the level slightly up above him. Senti trying to rotate around the bomb. He has to be careful with that Mercy. And there's a push coming in there. Komi Piotr's trying to jump. He actually gets the drop on Mendex. As Komi Piotr's overextending, he's going to get caught in a crossfire. So Atmospheric is now dropped, and so is Komi Piotr. So Swift have lost 2 tanks down to out of range's 1 tank. Now we see Mihailov getting focused, so Swift have down 3 tanks. Out of range still have 6 guns in the battle. Only Komi Piotr's dropped. Decha has only 71 health as he backs off to try and get a reload. As Senti's going to fight off with Mersky here. Misses a vital shot here. That was a really important shot he needed to get. He only has 3 shots. He can't kill Mersky now.
He's scared now because he doesn't know how many shells Mersky has. He doesn't know how many shells Crespix has. And while he was hesitating, Crespix actually managed to reload. This is a bit of a misplay by Senti here, but still out of range in a huge advantage at the moment.
Skylex Pro gets the shot onto Decha up on the hill there, as out of range are still sitting here now with 5 tanks in the game, although Formula Adin has a dead commander, so that's going to affect his vision. Swift have 4 tanks still in the game, although Crespix is on 25 health with a damaged engine. Mersky is only 415 health, so he has to be very careful whichever side he decides to poke out from to get shots. Raging Potato takes out Crespix there. Skylex becomes the next one focused on Swift. Out of range in the driving seat here, Mojo. They have 5 tanks left to Swift's 2, almost 1 tank left.
It looks like a first victory for out of range here in a tiebreaker ever for them. After being down 0-3, From 0 to hero.
And there we have it. Out of range started off this exchange. 3 battles down to Swift and have managed to bring it back 5-4.